keeps on dancing like a butterfly. When she danced the crow hop, her skills were never shy. Yeah, so keep on dancing like a butterfly. I got your flower, so keep on dancing free. I remember the first time when she first started to dancing. The last time I saw her, she saw me singing at the 49. She had starry eyes and the moon was setting high. But when she left that party that night, she never said goodbye. Yeah, so keep on dancing like a butterfly. I got your flower, so keep on dancing free. Yeah, so keep on dancing like a butterfly. I got your flower, so keep on dancing free. On that second day, she was not dancing. The night before she got in a car, we lost a butterfly. Today I keep on singing for those that we lost and all those other butterflies to keep on dancing free. Yeah, so keep on dancing like a butterfly. I got your flower, so keep on dancing free. Yeah, so keep on dancing like a butterfly. I got your flower, so keep on dancing free.
Okay. What's up, all you beautiful Indian people? It's your beautiful, it's it's your brother from another mother, Patrick Little Wolf Brooks, coming to you guys live here on another show, Rocking with Rock and Ron, and we have a special guest for you guys tonight. Ron, give us a little intro who we got in here tonight.
Oh, man. So our brother that you can see down there on the bottom of the screen is one hell of a fine native musician, one hell of a fine musician in general. He's done shows all over this continent, as a matter of fact, opened up for some amazing artists. In his time, he's worked with some of the greatest that there is in the industry, and tonight we get to have him right here on the B&B Indigenous Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, nice warm round of applause for Mr. Brock Stonefish. How you doing, man?
Hey, good. Just shutting off my heaters here. A couple floor heaters.
There you
Shut
go.
them down.
Sounds
so
like an
you can-
Indian house for sure then, huh?
Oh, it's an Indian trailer.
Yeah, even better, man. Yeah, so you can travel. That's the nice thing is you can travel to concerts if you can hook your truck up, get your trailer down the road, and then still be able to make grand entry too. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I got my living room right here. I'm good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that with my buddy there a couple years ago. My buddy had an RV. We hit up a bunch of powwows, and yeah, it was fun. Got to sit in the
Nice.
camper and feel fancy.
So you grew up powwowing too, huh?
Oh yeah. I grew up. I don't know. My reserve. We started having powwows in 1972, and my mother brought the powwows to our region. And it was basically my grandmother. She was part of the Indian Center in Detroit. So she was the head of the Indian Center and used to run a bunch of meetings back starting in the 40s. And anyway, like it evolved into what's the American Indian movement in the 70s, which started in the 40s in Detroit, and and my mom was part of the Detroit Center, and they called her, I don't know if she was the Indian Princess of Detroit or something like that, and they had a,
Yeah.
and they had a dance troupe there, and my mother was a hoop dancer, and there was another guy who was a fancy feather dancer, and they were the only dancers from out west that had been out in this area at that time. So nobody knew anything about powwows out here because it's from out west. And so my mom started the powwow in 1972 along with my auntie Cheryl, who's from Stony Point and Kettle Point, um, and another lady from the reserve. I think her name was Verna Whiteeye. And they were, from what I hear, were the main organizers that started that powwow in 1972. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, my mother was the hoop dancer, and she was like one of the first to dance with 17 hoops, and she represented Miss Michigan or Michigan and Detroit down in Wisconsin when they had.
Ah.
That was back when they had Miss Indian World in Wisconsin, but or whatever pageant it was, whatever they called
Oh
it then, I
yeah.
don't know.
Man, you can't
But
beat Native Beauty though.
yeah, yeah,
That's good. So
yeah. That song that you just played. I was on a radio show with Gary Farmer in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and oh, geez, I can't think of this girl's name right now. It's awful. Um,
Don't feel
but
alone. I do that same thing.
she ran the radio show down there. I almost want to say Sunshine. Last name. Jeez. Anyways, she she asked me. She ran the pageant. Had something to do with the pageant at Gathering of Nations, and offered to
Yeah.
have me come and sing that song during the pageant. And I never made it back anyhow. But hopefully someday I'll get down there. That'd be something to do for that event.
Yeah, stage 49, man. That's actually pretty cool that they set that up over there. We were talking about
Emergence
making it down there. What's that?
Emergence Productions. Emergence Productions runs that stage 49.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They got a lot of good artists that come to Gathering of Nations and play every year. Whether they're at the Lobos Arena, now they're at the New Mexico Expo. Still, a lot of people show up, a lot of vendors, a lot of amazing artists. Man, one time I was down there, I drove 11 straight hours from just north of Houston, Texas, all the way to Albuquerque in a commercial truck. And when I got there, I made it there Saturday night, I think, and then I paid, my way in. Actually, matter of fact, no, it was Friday night, so I was there pretty much for the whole of the powwow because it's only Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. I think they just do arts and crafts or whatever. But there was this GMC Sierra parked out back there when they were still over at University of New Mexico, and this man had airbrushed the Navajo code talkers and then his own presence in the United States military as he was in the army, but he painted his whole family on that truck, man. I mean, the art was so real to life. Like, damn, that's airbrush, bro. Like, I mean, I've seen some amazing artists out there. My father is one of those, you know what I mean? But this is the
Oh
thing,
yeah, yeah.
the plethora of talent,
I always wanted to do something like that. If I could find a good airbrush artist who could airbrush some fancy dancers on a car.
Yeah.
I actually have an airbrush artist named Tyler Malfoy out here. I'm probably saying his last name wrong, but he knows who I'm talking to. He's an amazing airbrush artist. He's done all my shirts, my hats, and the works. It is amazing work. He actually did a lot of the Special Olympics helmets, which are amazing. His airbrush is fantastic. I'll get you in touch with him.
Man, you're speaking my language, talking about native car designs.
Well, I when I was in high school, my wall like fuck. I didn't realize it because I was too dumb to realize that I was probably upsetting a lot of women, and I had all the centerfolds of Lowrider magazine all around my room, man. And those girls were just sitting there, and they were saying, you think you're ever gonna meet a girl like that? And I said, no, but I'm gonna have a fucking car like that one day,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, I've always dreamt of that. I always dreamt of having a nice car with hydraulics, and a Buick Riviera would be what I wanted.
Yeah.
And fix that up, and have some fancy dancers airbrushed on it. Fancy feather dancers, So 'cause
Yeah.
I was fancy dancing growing up. When I grew up, I was fancy feather dancer. So
Double
I
double bustle tough guys.
yeah. Don't mess with a fancy feather dancer, man. They'll dance around you, man.
Yep, they got rock solid calf muscles. That's what it is, dog.
Yeah, stay on your toes, man. Yeah, that's it. Your heels don't touch the ground.
That's right. So you've been powwow your whole life too, or what?
But I only fancy danced till I was about maybe 13, and then I switched to grass dance, and it was so damn boring, and I never had time to make another regalia. I got in the guitar.
Reverse that. What you just say about us grass dancers? What you say about us grass dancers?
Those are fighting words.
Well,
right there. I'm a grass dancer. Who is this? Brock Stonefish have just joined us.
Well, it's fancy dancing's a dance of finesse, and grass dancing is strength, pure brute strength.
Grass dance all about smoothness. If you ain't got smooth, if you can't be smooth, you can't be a grass dancer, baby. Yeah, we're strippers. Yeah. We're strippers in regalia.
Yeah. No, see, my cousin Little Jerry, he's a badass little grass dancer. Man, as a matter of fact, they had a Mr. Smooth contest out here in Washington. How you doing, Brent?
I'm good.
Right. We wanted to harass as much of his family as we could. Oh,
Brent. Oh, right on. Yeah. I sent my brother that link that you told me not to send anybody. But yeah, this is my brother.
Well, welcome, Brent.
Heck yeah, man. Oh, looks like you got my backpack hanging above your head there, Brent. We really appreciate that. You know what I mean? Hey? Especially if you got powwow rations you want to sit next to my tent there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to talk to Brock about this new album.
Yeah.
I got to listen to a couple of these songs. This new album. So, Brock, you've been working on this for a while. What inspired some of these songs you have on this new album?
Well, I just updated my website tonight. I spent most of my time. I added to my bio. And what I put on there was basically writing about the songs. I'm just going to pull it up for reference here so I can tell you.
Right.
But yeah, I just said recent news, and I said, so I released the album, and like, I just got to look and see what order my damn songs are in, too. The opening track was Residential Redemption. And back in 2006, they had what was that, Brent? A national apology. Who was that white guy said sorry?
That was Stephen Harper.
Stephen Harper, Canada's finest prime minister.
Yeah. So he said sorry, and a whole bunch of stuff and was coming out, and I watched a documentary called Muffins for Grandma. Or Muffins for Granny or something. And there was a bunch of interviews about residential school survivors and how they survived tuberculosis and everything like that. And it put me back to when I was growing up. I spent a lot of time in the women's shelter. And when on a run with my mom. And there was a lot of rules in those places. And you were basically locked in rooms for the day, and you couldn't get out of they put you in a playroom, and you were locked in there for the day. You couldn't get out. You couldn't get nowhere. Fucking bars on the windows,
That's
And
ridiculous.
and I've stayed in a few different women's shelters across Ontario, and they're all like that. And I don't never get to see my mom throughout the whole day. So I'd get up in the morning. I'd see my mom in the morning, and then breakfast. You get separated at breakfast. You got to eat breakfast with the kids, and then I'm in a cab to the school. Get back from the school, and I don't see my mom because they have her in some kind of counseling, and then we have dinner, and then I see my mom, and I'm still eating with the kids, and then afterward we finally get to spend time for a couple hours, and that time we would just sit and play Tetris and then go to bed, and then there was a curfew, and that was the routine. And that's how a lot of my childhood was, that routine. And plus, I'm a survivor of the Indian Day School. I used to be locked in a cupboard under the stairway in the basement of the Indian Day School, and just all these things, memories, and the stories of hearing the residential school survivors. I wrote the song "Residential Redemption," and the one line in that song is, she said I'd make it if I sang her song, and it hits home because when I come across the end of the album, I got Mom's Jingle Dress song, and I'm singing her song, So, but it's kind of, a lot of my songs have manifested themselves into my life, and once I start noticing the patterns, when I would write a song, I would live it years later, literally almost to a T.
Yeah.
And once I start realizing that, I was real careful on what I wrote about.
Well, do me a favor. Do me a favor, Brock. Write a song about me winning the lottery.
Yeah, if you can do that, include me too, because I can sure use that manifestation right about now.
Absolutely, I need that myself.
Yeah.
A non-crazy native woman and a winning the lottery. I'm good to go.
Yeah, yeah.
How about I write a song about people never having to worry about the lottery?
Oh, that's even beautiful. That's it. I like that. Absolutely.
Well, my biggest contribution would be if I could, if you ever need a drummer, I'm a classically trained percussionist, so like I've been in the game for a long time myself. Like my brother and I are both musicians. My mom's a musician. She had a band for like 20 years, the Johnny Ripoff band. As a matter of fact, Half-Blooded Lakota was adopted out as a young man, but he ended up with a blues guitar in his hand, and his whole life he made music like that. And they got together and made a lot of memories around the Pacific Northwest and beyond. They travel to different Indian casinos and play at the local bars and taverns and whatnot. But that music, that's something that I've noticed has really influenced a lot of our Native people and helped us get out of really tough situations in our lives. You know what I mean? I'm at the point where I really would love to see you guys show up over at the Blues Festival this summer. That would be awesome. Portland has got one of the biggest blues music celebrations in the continent and around the world. The Blues Festival is one of those.
I know. Oh yeah, I know. I've heard about Portland Blues Festival. It's big, especially on the YouTube videos. All the big names play there.
Well, Buddy Guy, he came there. He just killed, and he don't give a damn. He makes it so. He made that show so good, And there was probably 180,000 people downtown that night. Plus, it was the colonial 4th of July and all that, so it was fireworks celebration, Buddy Guy, and
the rumor. Well, is there a lot of people? How many people are logged in right now?
We have a few. We have about, right now, we normally get them right halfway through the show. Right now, we're about 25, 30 viewers at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, a friend of mine told me that Buddy Guy was just the O.J. Simpson of the blues.
Oh, no doubt about it. First Time I Met the Blues is one of my favorite blues songs in history. Like, and I mean, well, I talk about this movie a lot, but Rumble.
Not in a good way, Ron. Not in a good way, Ron.
Yeah, no, I've heard good and bad things about Buddy. So I mean, and he's just one of
I'm
many
only,
artists that I love.
I'm only kidding. I'm only
Oh
kidding.
no, I
I
know,
don't
I know.
want to. I don't want to get too far into that sense of humor. It's too early in the game here. We got to feel each
Yeah.
other out before I start saying too many things.
I noticed something, Brock, that you work with Gary Farmer quite a bit. How did that relationship start to come about?
Well, let's see. I think we first met each other. How the hell did we meet? We met each other in Peterborough, Ontario. I was doing. They had this festival called the O'Damon Geezus Festival, Strawberry Festival. You remember that, Brent? And then there's a lady used to run it, Patty Shaughnessy, and she's a big name too in the theater industry. So I figure she's probably was good friends with Gary, had him come up and perform. And anyway, I went and checked him out. I think I opened for him, and yeah, that's right, I opened for him, and at this bar called the Red Dog Tavern, and at the time they had a reputation of live music every night for 125 years. And this was back in 2008. Anyhow, I played the open for them, and these guys, they were on their way down to London. I don't know if they were coming from Toronto. Where the hell were they coming from? Ottawa, maybe? They might have been coming from Ottawa or somewhere, and they're heading their way, making their way towards London. And they were playing at the Aeolian Theater, and they were wanted to hire me. And he says, "Man, I want you in our crew." And he says, "Stonefish." He says, "I have an aunt, Alice Stonefish, married a farmer in Six Nations." I said, "Oh, okay, yeah, fuck, right on." So we're kind of related through marriage.
Yeah.
So yeah, his aunt was Alice Stonefish, and I I almost had it where she was in our bloodline there, but anyway, he says, "Come on down to London." I couldn't make it down to London. Yeah, I was sick. I had the flu, and it was like anyhow. I run into him. Where the fuck were we? I don't know. He got a hold of me somehow. I don't know. We had each other's contact, and he said we had a gig in Toronto. So we ended up playing at Fort York in Toronto at this little festival.
Yeah.
And he was just trying me out to see if I could pull it off on a whim, I think. And I did. And we did a little show, and we left, and we went down to the Six Nations, and they had a concert for Cure, and they had Johnny Lang was the headliner.
Favorite,
and
one of my faves.
Me too, and one of my heroes. And so we get down there, we set up his booth, and I'm selling shit for Gary, and then anyway, I get my Telecaster signed by fucking Johnny Lang later that night, eh? and yeah, that was a pretty good deal. And we stayed at the studio in Six Nations above the there was condos above this little studio there that Kenny Hill, or the big smoke guy, big cigarette kingpin, owned that soundboard that I heard was worth 2 Lamborghinis. But
what's that? Seneca Nation Smokes, huh?
Well, they got Grand River Enterprise, GRE.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so that's how we developed our relationship that way, and he was always saying, "I'll fly you down," and sure enough, he got a hold of me, and he started flying me down. He had me down to New Mexico. He'd fly me down for like a week at a time, and we'd practice and stay at his house, and that'd fly me home. And I was living in Peterborough, taking care of my mother. My mother's health was real bad for a long time.
Yeah.
And so it was always was kind of sticking around, heading back to Peterborough. and I would take the bus to. Well, actually, my dad lived in Toronto. My dad worked with homeless people for fucking long time, like 30 years or something like that, 25 years, and he was working in Toronto, so he would pick me up in Peterborough, run me down to Buffalo, New York, and I'd catch the plane down to Albuquerque. So that was my route, and I'd probably fly down there maybe 2-3 times a year for about 4 years down to New Mexico, and we would tour from Albuquerque across to Southern California, all the way up the coast to Portland and out to Seattle, and we head back across to Minnesota and Montana and all the way down Oklahoma and back again and back to fucking Central California, up to Hoopa Valley, California, down to Eureka to fucking Lolita to Texas to goddamn Tubac, Arizona, where the hippies are fucking Moonies and eating each other and all kinds of crazy shit we met. But yeah.
Sounds like some blues stories for sure, bro.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
So
yeah.
man,
but yeah, so we'll get back to this first question you had there, Brooke. You said what's that? The second song was Turtle Island, right? I only got to tell you what the first song was.
Right.
So the second song was Turtle Island, and that was a song I wrote. I wrote that back in. It was one of the first songs I wrote. I was living in Cape Cod. I was working at Plymouth Plantation, and I had got a job there. And there's a famous Indian by the name of Jonathan Perry.
Oh yeah,
you guys know it. And he's my he had attended a ceremony that my brother and my sister-in-law were conducting. It was an 18-day ceremony in January when I was 16 up north, and Jonathan Perry and his lady at the time were there, and they he was always telling me about this place. He says, Jay, we're like fucking movie stars down there. People want to take pictures of your Indian. I'm like, yeah, right. Fuck, not around here, you know, because he couldn't believe the racism he was getting and all this and that. And I didn't believe that either till I ended up going down there. But yeah, like I was 16 then, and he told me about it then, and I never thought I'd see him again. And he'd brought a fucking halibut all the way up into Canada from Cape Cod, and we cooked it over this fire. And anyway, it was a pretty cool experience. And years later, I'm 19 years old. I'm playing 5 nights a week in Boston, and I'm living with my cousin Brian Cryle. He's got a Porsche, and we're styling, driving around Boston all over the place. And he's a bouncer at a fancy blues club called Johnny D's. I heard it burnt down. It was in Davis Square, and in Somerville. So anyway, yeah, I'm down there, and I'm commuting to this, and I'm working with him in a moving company, and then I'm going with my cousin, who's with the women's hand drum group at the NACOB at the Indian Center in Boston. So I'm going over to Boston, hanging out with these girls, teaching them some of the songs that my family grew up singing. And I ended up going with this hand drum group to go share a song that I sing that's from the Plains Ojibwe Singers. And it's actually my brother Brent's favorite song, a traveling song by them. And they took me to Haverhill Powwow in Massachusetts, and here I run into Iron River Singers, and my buddy Jonathan Perry. And I walk up to him and say, "Hey, you remember me?" He said, "Oh," and he just fucking thought he saw a ghost, eh? And he goes, "Wow," and he goes, I'm telling him I'm living in Boston and everything, and he goes, "Well, you want a job at the plantation? You know, it's all a bunch of Indians work there." And I'm like, "Yeah, no." where I'm from, we got fucking, it's literally plantation shit around here. Like, we're out in a bunch of fields, tobacco fields. And so I'm thinking, oh, this fucking guy's going to have me hanging tobacco or something. What's he got for me? Go work. So, yeah, sign me up. I'll meet you down there. So I get down there, and there's this guy named Gary McCann. Was this guy who worked with the Indian Center. I was always doing stuff with the Indian Center with a Sam Sapio and a Gary McCann and my cousin Stephanie Ryan and my friend Tanya Martinez and my cousin Brian. We would go down to the city hall and fight for fucking Deer Island. No more development over on Deer Island. And there was a Wampanoag representative there. I won't mention any names because the motherfucker was for it. So, anyway.
Hey, Brock, just give you a little heads up, brother. We have a few young and elders watching the broadcast. We're going to just tone it down a little bit on the language. I'm just getting a grandmother says, I have a grandmother just texted me just a few seconds ago. I love listening to the show, but those MFs and Fs are killing me. So we're just going to give an apology to some of our elders out there watching the show. We're just talking kind of free. Yeah.
That's what I asked you in the beginning. I asked you if there was anything I should worry about. I apologize. That's what I was talking about.
It's all good. It's all good for a few of them.
I can tell you, though, from my experience, especially working in the industry myself, that we get comfortable, and that's just kind of the way that it is. Our natural side comes out, but I have to do that too. I get to the point.
Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about linguistics. We're speaking the English language. We're already swearing. We're already desecrating our land.
Yeah. Just
speaking the language that's coming out of my mouth right now. We're pissing on our ancestors right now.
Yeah.
What does it make a difference? My brother toured with Noam Chomsky from MIT, my brother Bruce Stonefish. He was going to tour with Noam Chomsky to Fiji and all these places to talk about swear words and how it holds no ground to dishonor anybody.
Totally. Oh, I remember there was a spot like that during the Standing Rock situation. And this auntie got on there. She was saying, this ain't even my language, She says, you're all telling me I shouldn't be cussing around, da-da-da. She says, F you. She says, this ain't even my language. It's like, oh, well. And I totally agreed with what she was saying. Some people are a little bit more censorship happy, though. I've never been that way. And then sometimes I get pressured, and then I even feel more upset about it. And then I start going harder than normal. Like, damn, Ron.
So anyway, I get down to, I get this guy, Gary McCann. He takes me down to Cape Cod. So I get down to Cape Cod, and I had this job interview, and these two guys. The first guy I run into is a friend of mine, and he ended up becoming my brother. His name was Randy Joseph, and he's passed away now, and he's been gone for quite a few years, and I never had a chance to get to his funeral, but I know everybody knows I love him, and he guided me to this place called the Field House. And he goes, yeah, so we'll take it to the Field House. So I'm still thinking, oh, these guys are going to have me hanging tobacco, and I get down there, and here it's a historical museum called the Plymouth Plantation. Now they call it the Museums at Patuxent or something like that. Eh?
Yep, the museum at Patuxent. Yep.
And it kind of, and they're having issues with their museum now with trying to keep the quality of the history being represented.
We just did a podcast about how the mess is getting, how our original teachers that were there are getting crapped on, and because they don't want to tell the true history, and a lot of those teachers that were there before are literally no longer there, and they're letting non-natives do the shows and doing the programs.
Yeah. See, I was there when Daryl Wixon was the boss, and Linda Coombs and Darius Coombs, and those guys made sure everything was right.
Yes.
And it was like an education system to be part of. because we would be at like through the winter months would be educational, and we would be working in indoors, and we would be doing research and having meetings and going on field trips and all this and that. And the damn training manual they gave me was about this thick. And for the first like 3 months of working there, I had to read that training manual, I think twice a week. So 2 days out of the 5 days a week I worked there, I had to read that training manual for the eight hours or whatever full work day. And I did that for 3 months just for the training to get through. And then you get on site, and then you hear the interpreters. But I had the privilege of hearing Daryl Wixon, who when he was on site, and I have so much respect for that man. I hope he's doing well. I don't know if he's listening, or any family members or people from down Mashpee Wampanoag way. But
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a really good knowledge keeper, and we would just talk about songs. And in my family, I was my brothers, they went and made me the damn lead singer, and then first they gave me they made me one of the drum carriers was one of the first tasks I had. And we had about 3 drums at that time, and maybe about 18, 19 singers. And we had I had started taking care of the drum when I was probably about 12 or 13. And then I became the lead singer when I was probably around 16 or 17. And my brother Bruce and Brent, they were always doing the leads and that. And then so they put it on me to make sure I knew the songs. Well, we used to tour when I was 15 years old. It was the first time I went to Cape Cod, and I met my friend Chinook Pocknet, who had just recently come up in October to do a fireball ceremony for my brother's memorial. And me and Chinook are the exact same age. I remember he still remember we talked about it, how we met, and then another friend of ours, Matthew Boardley, was there, and he's like a brother to me too. All these guys are like brothers to me. They're like that. They're just really ace people down there. These Wampanoag guys are really good, solid people.
Yeah, they are.
Anyway, yeah. So I went down there, and then we were touring Cape Cod, and we went out to Quinas when I was 15, and then we ended up going over to New York City, and we would tour the different high schools and the Bronx and Brooklyn and Manhattan and Yonkers and Dobbs Ferry, New York, and out in New Jersey, Hackensack, New Jersey, Ramapo, Mahwah, all these places. We toured all these high schools and did demonstrations of traditional Delaware songs and traditional, songs from our family and our healing songs. And we did ceremonies with the people out there. And we toured. I toured with Dennis Banks and John Trudell. We toured all these places, and I sang on their drum group. And,
Uncle.
And we sang in Hackensack and Ramapo, and we were hired to come down there every year for the Pelletier rally that they held at Ramapo College. And so we used to go down there for that. So I knew all these songs. So years later, when I'm 19 years old, working with Daryl Wixon, sharing my knowledge with him and him sharing his knowledge with me, was one of the biggest, greatest times of my life. And it was just an easy job. I could just sit there and sing. And that's what I would do. I would sit there, I would hit 2 hickory sticks together, and I'd I'd go through a whole bunch of songs, a bunch of different verses, social dance songs, and whatever, and sometimes through the summertime, the kids would come and they would be working there and they'd be dancing. It was just a really good thing, and great experience. But I had written this song Turtle Island at that time, and I had written a Butterfly song at that time too when I was living down there, and I had called. So yeah, that Turtle Island, I've been singing that song for a while. I've been playing that riff since I was in high school. And I used to play that riff kind of like, I used to play that riff like that when I played that Sublime song, What I Got.
Love,
you know that song, What I Got?
What I Got.
Yeah, that's the one. And
Yeah.
and I would play that like that, eh? So I go, early in the morning, rising to the street, light me up that cigarette. I walk from Turtle Island, long dark hair, pretty sky. Yeah, try not to drop this and burn the place down, but so yeah, that's just and that's how I came up with that song, Turtle Island. So when I wrote the song, the next song, Pounding on My Soul, I had written that song. I came back from Cape Cod, and I had been I was living down in Cape Cod. I was living in a guy's named Russell Peters, and he let me live in his house, and I only had to pay him $125 a week, and it was a 2-bedroom house with 4-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms, Cape Cod style house. And back then, property like that was worth $1.5 million. So I felt like I was pretty styling when I was 20 years old, living in this house by myself. And I was having 49. I was throwing 49s back in those days, where there were more cops there than in 49s they have nowadays.
Yeah.
Closing down. Yeah, it was great time.
Back when the 49s were fun. That was back when 49s were fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm leaving Cape Cod, and I was at Movie Pow Wow in New Jersey, singing on my guitar, and a woman comes up to me, her and another woman, singer, and she says, "I'm an agent from Sony EMI. We need you out here. Where are you from? In Canada?" Where? And I said, "Oh, I live in Cape Cod." "Well, we're going to get you out here." So I was working for another company out in Cape Cod because I got fired from working at the plantation, and because I skipped work and went to Skimitzen one weekend.
That's the most Indian shit you could do right there.
Yeah.
That's the most Indian you could
Were
do.
you with him on this?
Where's that applause now? Hit that button.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. One more for the fans.
Yeah. So I got fired for that, and I ended up moving over to New Jersey. And this agent gets me out there, and I'm staying in a hotel where the chief, Walter Van Dunk, close family friend, his wife Marie was manager at the Quality Inn there, right there on Route 17. You know where I'm talking? Next to the Ramada Inn?
Right down the road. I know where you're talking about.
Yeah.
There, but I camped my big truck right down the road from there. Not a lot of parking, I'm going to tell you.
It's a brothel. I think it's a brothel now. But no, I don't know. It was pretty brothely when I lived there.
Can
And
I have the
when I
can I
stayed,
have the address, please? We'll post that address.
Yeah. At the end of the show.
At the end of
Yeah.
the show, we'll
It's like
post that
Aurora
address.
Avenue out here in Seatown, bro. Do the same thing. From like 98th to 130th.
so I would stay. So I would stay in that hotel, and I ended up writing a whole shitload of songs. I probably wrote 30 songs staying in that hotel, and you know, in that whole time when I moved out to New Jersey, when I was in Cape Cod, I was doing a lot of partying and a lot of drinking and smoking weed. And then when I went out to New Jersey, I didn't know anybody, and so I wasn't drinking, I wasn't smoking weed or nothing, and I was smoking cigarettes. That was about it. And I ended up writing a whole bunch of songs, and I was playing all these places. I was playing on Route 4 at the Great American Lobster Company. It was like it was in a fancy part. It was right across from Giant Stadium. That's right, where that place was. And I played
Over
another
there,
place called
right down the street from me.
Yeah, right down the street from you. And another place called the Porter House at the Upper Saddle River, or Porters. You call it Porters?
Yep, we call it Porter's.
Porter's Steakhouse, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you guys are making me want steak, man. If you got any moose meat up that way, bro, you know what I'm saying? Hook me up.
No, you gotta go a little further north for that.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. I'm going to pause just for a second for a word from our sponsors. Just give me a second here.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get this sponsorship on. Welcome to the B&B podcast. Sponsored by Skoden XYZ. Have you been looking for a new website besides Facebook to join? Skoden XYZ is owned and operated by Native people. It is a Facebook platform for Indigenous people. Skoden XYZ, thank you so much for sponsoring our video tonight and bringing on a great artist like our man Brock Stonefish. So if you're looking for another platform besides Facebook and you want all natives all the time, come over to Skoden XYZ, the Indigenous Facebook platform. You can find it on all your major apps on your Android and your Apple devices. Skoden XYZ. Thank you again. All right,
That's
back to the show.
And don't forget, you guys, when you guys sign up, not only are you tapping into an all-native platform, the opportunity for you to post your favorite powwows or round dance flyers, talk about your family stuff, you know what I mean? We want to hear all your success stories, tribal businesses. Don't forget to check it out. Patrick is absolutely right. We're going to get Brent and Brock on there, too. People are trying to call me right now. I got people calling me in the medicine community and stuff. He told me he was going to call me back, my brother.
We call Skoden XYZ the TP Creeping website, so you can come over and get your latest snag. So come on over, so that way you can look at the women from the other top of the water and only wish you had them dancing at your powwow.
That's right. Man, so you were playing that guitar pretty smooth, bro. And what does it say on the neck there on the fretboard? What does that say? We wear red, right? Huh? Is that
why we wear red? Yeah.
Dude, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, Brock, can we get you to?
Or what you got? What do you playing right now? Oh man, yeah, that's a thing of beauty, bro.
That's
you got
gorgeous,
that tuner up on the top, huh?
Oh, look at the shine on that bad boy.
I know. Now, let me ask you a question too, Brock. Do you play slide guitar ever? Have you ever got down like that? Like, I mean, one of my favorite musicians of all time, Bonnie Raitt. Oh, that's dope, bro.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this.
He's even got his signature on there, man. See,
Got
this
that
is going to lead me into the next situation I'm talking about. Brock
Indian
does a
Rich
lot of
right
work.
there.
Dude, he does a lot of work for our youth. So if you guys,
You see my logo right there? That's my logo.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't add something to this. Me and Brock talked, and there's going to be a lucky gift for our special commenter tonight. Brock is going to be donating a digital copy of his brand new album, Turtle Island, to a special person tonight that's going to be picked out of the guests. So if you continue to comment, if you'd like to get that digital copy of his brand new album, continue to comment. We're going to be picking from the list of people, and you'll be getting a digital copy of his brand new album, Turtle Island.
That's right.
Also,
and so you guys want to
also, yeah, go ahead, Ron.
No. I just wanted to encourage people to get on there. Like I was saying, with the work that you've done with the Indigenous Youth Guitar Giveaway, all of those things, man, this is something that I look at with Masters of the Craft. Sharing that for our young people is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to say to all of the young people before we continue on with the show, if you guys are interested in making music, it doesn't matter if you want to pick up a guitar, you want to pick up a set of drumsticks, you want to pick up a trumpet, trombone, viola, cello, wherever if you feel the oboe, you know what I mean? You go to the Arlene Schnitzer Memorial Concert Hall downtown Portland and you love the feeling you got from that orchestra. That's what we want to encourage all of our young people and anybody who's interested in music. Get out there and get on it. And with people like our brother here that is into helping our young people, this is what we're after. So anyway, I apologize. I know we've got a lot to talk about. We're all really excited. So,
hey Brock, you got a special request for a song. Our sis Love has asked if you would please play your mother's song and talk about it a little bit. She said it's a healing song that we could all use right now. So that's a request from Love Richardson. Our sis out there would like for you to play that song you wrote for your mother, if you would do that for us.
Oh, that. Have you heard the album, Pat?
I haven't got a chance. Yeah, we've been jamming like crazy. It's been insane ever since you sent me those copies on my Facebook Messenger. Yeah.
Okay. Well, my mom's Jingle Dress song. Well, I'll get to that. Yeah, for her, I'll get that. I'll get there. Just moving down the list here. Do you want to hear it now? I'll sing a bit of it now. It's actually just a healing song.
That's
and I'll tell you about it. It's a song that was made for my mom for her dress that was woken. And when my mom was young, like I told you guys, she was a hoop dancer and she hadn't danced for a long time. And she had been through so much abuse and domestic abuse and everything. And she was forbidden to dance. And so when her and I left my community, we were kind of on the run all the time. Me and my mom, we were kind of hiding. We didn't really want to know. We didn't want nobody to know where we were. And so we were up north, and we ended up meeting these medicine people, and we would go to sweat lodges every night for about a year. And we met a lot of elders there, like Peter O'Cheese was an elder that we met, and I don't know if you ever heard of him. He was over 100 years old at that time, and he spoke a way that only his daughter could translate, and another person could translate the daughter, so that we could understand what the teachings he had. Because not even fluent speakers understood what he was saying. But anyway, we spent a lot of time there, and they gave her this dress, and part of her healing was that she had to start dancing again. And I'll tell you this story. My mom was in a sweat lodge one night, and she would always see things in the sweat lodge. She would always see like fireworks coming out, and out of the rocks, and she could see people's spirits and stuff. And then she just thought it was normal, and she started telling people what she could see in there, and everybody's like, "What are you?" And one time she saw a turtle. It came out of the rock and was talking to her and was kind of saying, saying, you know, I'm telling you this now because it's wintertime. I could talk about it. And that turtle looked up at her and said, if you really want to go, you know, I can take you now. I can take you to the spirit world. Because my mom was so, she thought if she could just kill herself, then she wouldn't have to keep me from my family or keep running and keep all this and that and have me in danger because I was at risk too. And to her understanding. And so this turtle just says, you know, I'll take you now, and Brock will be taken care of, and your family, your boys will all be taken care of. And she said, okay, I'm ready to go. And then she said that turtle just smiled and said, I'm just kidding, and turned around and left.
Hey.
And then that was, and then anyway, she ended up getting this dress gifted to her by these people in the Lake of the Woods from Shoal Lake. And that's where the jingle dress came from. And there was 365 tobacco can lids that were twisted into cones put on there every day of the year. Eh? And the dress was purple, and that purple is a healing color. Eh? Purple with a yellow stripe on it. And so they gave her that dress, and we had to wake that dress up. And so this song came from the Alexis Reserve out in Alberta, Canada. And my ceremony uncle from our reserve here was married to a lady out in the Alexis Reserve, and they live out there now, and he died out there just a couple years ago. His name was Jim Tobias. And they had made this song, and I think Brent, my brother Bruce, was part of making this song too. I'm not sure, but it says, we are ke wake chibe no, we are ke makuche wake chibe no, shake shake chungu chibe no. And recently I had somebody translate it, like within the past few years again, and they said that it meant that the we are ke wake chibe is that she is dancing, and she's doing the earth dance, and she's dancing with the earth, and that's what the song means. Eh? The woman is dancing, and the woman's dancing with the earth, doing the earth dance. And so here's a song goes. We are gay, wage, chibe, chibe, no. We are gay, makoche, wage, chibe, chibe, no. We are gay, makoche, wage, chibe, chibe, no. Shake, shake, chungu, chibe, no. Hey, hey, oh. We are gay, makoche, wage, chibe, chibe, no. We are gay, makoche, wage, chibe, chibe, no. Shake, shake, chungu, chibe, no. Hey, hey. We are gay, wage, chibe, chibe, no. We are gay, wage, chibe, chibe, no. Hey, hey, hey. We are gay, makoche, wage, chibe, chibe, no. We are gay, makoche, wage, chibe, chibe, no. Shake, shake, chungu, chibe, no. Hey, hey, oh. We are gay, makoche, wage, chibe, chibe, no. We are gay, makoche. Koche, wage chebe chebe no, shake shake changu chebe no, hey ya hey ya.
Oh, yeah. That was beautiful, bro.
Oh my God, that's moving right there.
What would Crow Milcourt say? Well, you guys put your fry bread eating hands together right there for a nice one round of applause.
Okay, man, that's
Hold your
powerful right
places
there,
with your
bro.
greasy faces.
That's powerful, Brock. Oh my, good. I can feel that. Hey, you may be good at that guitar.
Language, correct?
Hey, you may be good on that. You may be good on that stage, and you sing good at guitar, man. Don't you ever walk away from the drum. Oh man, good gracious.
So let me ask you this question real quick: Who's your favorite powwow drums out there then?
Oh, you know, the first powwow drum that was my favorite was a group called Stony Eagle.
Yeah.
And they had some badass songs. And
right?
Yeah, and they just had some really unique melodies, like something like here's a song, a memorial song for the late Percy Poorman who passed away January 17th, 1990 or something, December 19th. Anyway, it was a memorial song for late Percy Poorman. And it just had a really unique melody. And all of their songs kind of reflected their melodies were all, you don't hear them these days. I'll just give you an example. It's like, you don't hear climbs like that anymore, eh?
Not the way that they used to be. Not like Red Earth or old school Pipestone or.
It's all about how loud you can be. It's all about how loud you can be now. The words are starting to get lost within the music. It's who can scream the loudest. So those words are lost. Yeah. I noticed that as a dancer. I'm like, I love dancing, but I miss those old worded songs.
It must suck to be a dancer nowadays. Ha! Just kidding.
Hey, not even. Hey,
no, when you gotta listen to that, I mean, is what I'm saying. When you just gotta hear guys screaming.
This is the conversation that I've had with people, though, bro. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I hear some people that sing super, super high up, like old school Bear Creek, okay? I mean, if you listen to some of their stuff, even 10, 15 years ago, just the way that they sound, they blend well. Some people, like, it's... I have this feeling, and I'm just saying this as a powwow person my whole life. Yeah. It's like they're trying too hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me tell you something about Bear Creek. When I was in that place I was telling you about, when I was at with those ceremony people, that was in Garden River, and that's where those guys are from, Garden River and Batchewana. And I used to sing with a guy named Christ, I can't think of his name right now. A couple guys down there. But anyway, there was about 5 of us. We had a drum group. And 3 of those guys, they sang with a drum group called the Chinoden Singers.
Uh-huh.
And Chinoden was the drum group before Bear Creek. So all the young guys from Chinoden formed Bear Creek. And I kind of remember when they were first I knew some of those guys. I know some of them played hockey. I know that because I used to play hockey in Rankin in Batchewana on that reserve. So
nice.
But yeah, that's pretty. When you say Bear Creek, that's what I think of.
In the hockey arena, or actually on the lake?
No, they had a hockey rink there. Yeah, they had a hockey rink there. So when you lived in Sault Ste. Marie, when you played hockey in the city, one of the hockey rinks was the Rankin hockey rink, and the team I played for was the home ice was the Rankin rink. So all my home games were at the Rankin rink.
Nice. Man, a whole mess of powwows all over Canada are all in hockey rinks, bro. That's one of the things I noticed. Even some of their pavilions, they don't got no ice in their community or whatever, but they'll be putting on rollerblades, at least practicing and keeping their ankle strength up, man. I don't know how you Canadians do it, but hey,
Miss Brenda Hill's got
go ahead, Pat.
Miss Brenda Hill's got a great question for you, Brock. She says, "Hey, Brock, have you ever thought about saving your stories in a book?"
Oh yeah. That's one of the projects I'm working on right now. Is working on a series right now. So right now I probably got about 120,000 words that I got to work with. So it's going to be about 12 hours of speaking, and I'm going to break down the 12 hours, like in the words. So you figure an hour is 100,000 words, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Something like that. I don't
roughly
know
there,
that.
80 to 100.
So if you want to get a publisher's eye, you want to get about 600 to 800,000 words.
Yeah, unless you're a native down here in the South, where the words take a little longer to get through. You may not get 1,000 words in an hour. You may get about 400 words in an hour, especially my family down in North Carolina, because they take every word nice, slow, and stretched out.
Yeah,
right.
Sound like Barack Obama after he got elected as president. Ladies and gentlemen, I definitely like to take. I like what Brenda said about bare cheeks. She's teasing now. Some of the bros, man, those guys, Bear Creek, yeah, they rock. Mystic River rocks. I'm hardcore with High Noon, old school Red Bull. You know what I mean? Little Pine, Saskatchewan. Who's some of my favorites? Blackstone. Stony Creek. That was another one that we were talking about, huh, Patrick? Patrick's
right.
on the
That's my
Stony
boys.
Creek hit list.
That's my family right there. Stony Creek's. That's my neighborhood right there. Old school Stony Creek, man.
Yeah.
When Stony Creek used to rock the house.
Stony Park, big time.
Stony Park, yeah.
Beaver. That's family right there.
Elks Whistle.
Oh yeah.
Elks Whistle, man.
Don't make me pull my bells out.
You remember
Start pulling my
this
bells
right
out.
here, bro? Some of my favorite old school Stony Park, baby. I'll still be singing those songs.
Oh, yeah,
Everybody be teasing me around. Ron, man, you're like the king of old school.
Well, you remember Ron, when Ron and I first met, we were in Portland, Oregon. I forget because we were talking this before we went live, and we were playing. I was on tour with Gary Farmer.
Yeah,
and we stopped in Portland. And that's where I met Ron, and that's where I met Love, and I just sang the song for Love, and I remember we did my show, and then I went back to the hotel and took our gear back there, and we met you guys at a blues club, right, Ron?
Yeah.
What was the name of that blues club?
God, what the? Oh my God, man!
But we're there, and we're there. It's like last call. It's last call. We got a table full of drinks, so we're sitting there for a while. We got some time to kill, so me and Ron just start busting out all 49 songs, eh?
The Candlelight, Nikki remembered. See, thank you, Nicholas. The
Candlelight.
My brother would sing in there on Wednesdays.
We're singing stuff like
every week.
And we're saying, "Oh my pretty little ladies, let's
Oh,
go
night.
tonight."
I was even
Oh,
singing some Southerns too.
I love that song. Yeah, yeah. Then you said, yeah, and you kicked out that Stony Park song. I think that you just sang too.
See what
oh
I mean, though?
yeah,
I can go
man.
back years and years and years.
I think you even stood on the table and pulled out a double clutch.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't you stand on the table and sing double
Hey, if
clutch?
you guys are just tuning in, welcome to the B&B Indigenous Podcast. We want to say thank you
Yeah, they,
for all of you guys out there. We hope you're definitely enjoying the show. Mr. Brock Stonefish and Brent Stonefish, his brother as well, joining us. He's been all but silent. So, you know, Brent, and I'm going to hit you up. I know your microphone's off, but I'm going to hit you up right now anyway. So I want you to tell me how it was growing up with your brother in the house, man. You guys sound like you got a big family like we do. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, there's 8 years difference between me and Brock. He was the youngest of us all, and he was the daredevil of us all too. Yeah, he had his little memories. The most memories I remember is his little 50 he used to drive around. Holy Christ, he just loved that bike. He'd go all over the place, all over the reserve. He'd take off and nobody knew where he went. And one time he'd come home and he had corn stalks all in the bike. He said he went in the cornfield and couldn't stop and got hit by all the corn. Didn't you fall off your bike too?
yeah. I remember a time. Thought I was Evel Knievel.
Yeah.
I want to give a special request for everybody out there that's loving the show right now. If you're loving the B&B Indigenous Podcast, you're loving what you're seeing, we're going to continue to do this. Please share this video, like this video, continue to get the word out. We want to continue to support our Indigenous artists. Brock's been in the game for a long, long time. A lot of us younger artists, I'm a flute player, has looked up to Brock for a long time, wishing that we could be in the limelight and following his lead. So please like, subscribe, let's continue to keep this love going on.
Yeah. That's right. And also, if you guys didn't know, you guys need to check out his website. That's brockstonefish.com, just like the name suggests. As well, you can find him on facebook.com. And now, Brock, do you have a YouTube channel as well that you post a lot of your music up to? Or
yeah, you go to brockstonefish.com and you scroll to the bottom of the page and you'll see a YouTube channel for Brock Stonefish YouTube channel. And I got videos on my webpage as well, and I still got to post more, but there is a link to my channel on YouTube. And so yeah, go to my website too, brockstonefish.com, and I updated it tonight with I just added some news about the album release, and I just talked about all the songs. It doesn't look like we're going to get through this list tonight. I don't think we have enough time to tell all the stories I'm thinking about.
We have all night long. When you're tired, we're tired. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah,
that's why that's why this is the podcast. Yeah, this is our podcast.
I thought you were shutting it down. I thought you were winding down.
Oh no!
I got to give you the exclusivity that you're after, brother. This is the thing. Like, we're Indians, we run on Indian time, so that's how it's gonna be. You know, we're pushing a lot of opportunities for people to get in. You know, we want 3 main advertisers, so we want to be able to push your music on our page. Within the next month, we'll have our website up as well. We were talking about you giving away a digital download.
I have a tip jar as well.
All right. Now. So, that's it. He takes Cash App and PayPal.
Check this out.
That's dope.
I signed this. And see how it says Brock's album on there?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hell. What? I'll take one of those, please.
So
Right.
if you hit me up on my webpage, you'll see my email. Email me. And if you want to PayPal me $20, I'll send you this with my album on it.
Nice.
Or whatever. Whatever if you want one. You know what? This one here that I got, I'll that name you picked, we're gonna just get an address and I'll put this in the mail.
All right. All right. Right before the show, we're going to do a random comment test. I mean, a random comment pick, and the lucky winner will win their first prize here on the BNB Indigenous podcast. Hey, Brock, I love your music because you just when you think of Native music, you're always thinking of powwow music or ceremonial music, and then we have people like you and my auntie Pierre Fay has been in the blues and the background for so long, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to get auntie. Yeah, I'm trying to get her on the show soon.
Oh, she's wonderful. Like I've been watching her, listening to her since Eulalie came out, and I remember they used to back up sing for Silver Cloud singers, and I sang with Silver Cloud for a couple summers or something like that. I think, or
That's
one
the
summer
drum.
for sure.
That's
Yeah.
the drum I was a part of before. Kevin unfortunately crossed over, and he went over to the other Happy Hunting Grounds, and that's the drum I sang for with Silver Cloud. One of the greatest men I ever met, Kevin Tarrant. May he continue to hunt up there.
Yeah.
This is the thing,
And we
talk
have no
about
relation
all the
to
time.
George Stonefish whatsoever.
I already asked crazy ass George. I'm working on a beaded cowboy hat for him right now.
That's right. Well, we know who he is. We can glean through all of the people, the truth tellers in our community. He brought up Uncle John, may he rest in peace, man. You want to talk about somebody that told the truth. Now, there's a musician that was embedded in the entirety of Native culture, and I would catch hell, especially from powwow Indians. You know what I mean? I go to powwow like that. Oh, you're one of them AIM radicals, and be like, you're damn right I am. But I'm also a powwow native too. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna have my round bustles or my chicken dance outfit on or something like that, or I'm gonna set my drum up and be singing and dancing that same time. You know what I mean?
I made this and it became too controversial.
Oh wow! See, now you got to get Rage Against the Machine to come and play at one of your shows, bro. You know what I mean? Have them do that song that they did. That, man, just was dope. That is beautiful, by the way. We're actually related. Leonard's like one of our second cousins. It goes La Fountain or La Fontaine, depending on who you're talking to. Peltier, Robidoux, and Bellegardes. That's Turtle Mountain's Pembina and Little Shell bands of our family. So we're Chippewa, Cree, and Chinook. So we're coastal and plains and bush people too. So, but hey, we want you guys to like, share, and subscribe.
I was gonna give that on a guitar to a kid, and then
nice.
Their family reached out to me and said that better off that I didn't give it to them. So I didn't. It's gonna go to. I have plans for it, though. I do have plans for it. It is gonna go to somebody.
Well, how do the kids get involved in your Native Youth Guitar Giveaway, bro? That's the thing.
Okay, yeah. It's called the IYGGS, and right now I'm really having a hard time getting donations because I have guitars that need to be shipped, and I know there are several people who are waiting, and they're kind of messaging me, hey, and they're like, well, when are you going to send that guitar out? You got a guitar ready? Every next month. And I'm like, hey, bro, you still going to send that guitar? I'm like, Jesus, sorry, I haven't had any donations since October. And to send these guitars, because I sent a guitar to Northwest Territories, and that's
wow. That's over 3,000 miles from where you're at.
Yeah. So I've been shipping them out, and I've been giving them away at different events. Like I started out, the first guitar I gave away, I had an event on my reserve, and it was a chief and council meet and greet, and they hired me to perform, and I said, well, I'm going to give a guitar away then, and handed out tickets to everybody there, and I just picked names out of the hat. I picked out a name, and there was a guy got it, and he donated it back, and he was the president of the Blues Society and of Windsor, Ontario, and they're called the Canada South Blues Society, and he donated it back. So then I pulled out another name, and it was a councilwoman, and she donated it back. And finally, the third person got it, and it was a young lady from Oneida Reserve, and there's a picture of her holding the guitar on my website, and that was the first guitar. And then I had guitar was donated to me by a couple in Walpole Island, and I fixed it up and modified it. And what I do is I do these fancy fret jobs, and they make the guitar just a real good quality. Anyhow, let me show you what I'm working on. So this is a guitar that I'm working on, and I have all the frets. You see how I just kind of shaved them down flat?
Yeah, a little bit more finger action on that fretboard.
So now they're flat. So now what I have to do, I have my tools out already because I was anticipating showing you. And I take this file, and then I just run it all along each fret.
Yeah.
And I could just feel the teeth grab the side of the fret, and I just gotta let that run all the way through like that. Anyway, I dropped it. But anyway, what I'm doing is I'm just making a crown, so it's already flat. And so what I'm doing to the fret is I'm putting a slope on it now, right from the crevice of the side of the fret.
Right.
That's why I have it taped, so that none of the steel damages the rosewood underneath it, and as well as gloss. And that's why I have the whole guitar all covered up to keep it protected. And so once I get that shape, that slope, and that top, then I take all the tape off. I tape it all again, and then I go over it with another tool, sanding tool, and I go back and forth all the way up and down the fretboard. And I'll start with a 320 grit to a 400 grit, 600 grit. Then I'll go to a 900 to a 1200 to a 1500 to a 2000. And then you can go paper. Right up. You go right all the way up to a 7,000 fine grit paper, and these frets right now that are under construction, they're just gonna look like jewelry. They're just gonna be just shiny. Yeah. And not only that,
beautiful.
And not only that, like the tool I have, the beam, it makes it perfectly straight, so it keeps the strings as close to the fretboard as possible, and it kind of it'll keep a consistent tone all the way up the fingerboard, so that each note is getting the same volume. And when it's done, when you push down on a string, you don't even have to pick it with this hand. You just push down and it'll just go doom, doom. So you get those guys that play like this, they can just sit there and play it like a piano.
Like Jeff Healey.
Yeah, like Jeff Healey.
Dude,
I watched him and Stevie Ray Vaughan get down like that, bro. And Jeff put it down on that guitar.
I always wanted to play guitar, but I got hurt in Iraq, and my bone in my left arm got completely shattered, and I can no longer rotate my left arm. So for me to
Jeez.
play, I'd have to play it reverse, and that was very hard for me. So I never did it. So watching Jeff Healey, I learned how to, since my hand doesn't rotate, is how to press down the chords like that a little bit. But I suck at guitar. I'm better flute player than I am a guitar player.
Right. Well, see,
You make flutes, Pat?
No, I don't make flutes. I've been playing flutes for almost 25 years now. I've been playing flutes and just been doing my thing. And I book gigs here in New York City and New Jersey City doing flute performances.
You remember a guy out there named Talking Leaves back in the day?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, he gave me a guitar.
that's
my
pretty awesome,
gave me-
man.
My first flute was given to me by Jonathan Windy Boy, not Jonathan Windy Boy, but Joseph Firecrow.
Mm.
You remember Joseph Firecrow, right?
Was he the other guy who played with two flutes?
Yeah. I think he's got like 8 or 9 like 8 or 9 NAMMYs, like 4 or 5 Grammys. He did a big orchestra album when he was with when he was with the symphony doing it on stage.
Yeah.
So, and if you guys want to donate opportunities to get some shipping out there, and I can tell you what, from my own experience, shipping heavy items, whether that's the Canadian Postal Service or the United States Postal Service, you can definitely make contributions to Brock Stonefish. I'm sure you can find him at paypal.com, correct, on his messenger, as well as Cash App and Venmo, I would imagine, huh? You guys, you can tell us what ways that people can send opportunities at getting some finances to you to send those out to those young people that are, lining themselves up to start playing and bring that music to the people like you've been doing with this work.
Yeah, I got my PayPal account and brockstonefish@gmail.com. So that's just the email associated with my PayPal. And you can e-transfer anything to me to the same email if you're in Canada. I don't know if it's the same way in the States or not. Excuse me, hold on a second.
Yeah. No, that's okay. We're going to take a small moment to say thank you for paying attention tonight.
Oh, you got something there? I was just spitting that out so I could talk to you. But what the hell was I saying now? So if you're in Canada, you can e-transfer and you just go to brockstonefish@gmail.com, PayPal, brockstonefish@gmail.com. And if you go to brockstonefish.com, I do have a code link, like you can take a picture of it or whatever, and it takes you right to my PayPal link or whatever.
Yeah.
It's all new to me anyway.
We just got a great question. A gentleman just came on and said, "What is this?" So let me describe a little bit right quick. You're tuning in to the B&B Indigenous Podcast, all native, all time. We talk to our native artists, our activists, our artists in every sense of the matter, our musicians, from the small beater to our big musician like Brock Stonefish. Our special guest tonight is Moti award-winning artist Brock Stonefish. He has graced us with his presence tonight and already gave us one song a cappella. Now he's been playing with that guitar. I know a song just bleeding to come out of him right now.
And that was Merlin Kickin' Woman Sr. from the Kickin' Woman Singers. If you guys know anything about Montana's finest drum groups, that's his family right there. His dad is one of the OG original singers from that area, Brown in Montana. You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell you what? Him and his brother Ronnie, his son, all his kids are all powwow kids too. But I'm sending out the message tonight, Merlin, and anybody that's out there, you guys like, share, subscribe to the B&B Indigenous podcast. You guys got other artists and people in the powwow community that you want to see on this show with us? Make sure like, share, and subscribe, and hit us up. I know Philip's asking you to play Turtle Island Girl, so we're gonna see if we can
Turtle Island Girl.
There it is.
See, I got this guitar I designed, and I had this guitar appraised of Long and McQuaid, Canada. They're a big chain franchise. A guy named Jack Tassay. He's the head of finance at Long and McQuaid. He came to my house and appraised this prototype that I have for $1,800 to $2,400. So that's what I would charge. That was before I did work to it as well, so. I don't know my hometown, do you know? I don't know the land I stand can go. I know, yes I know, you don't know. You know, Columbus called me Indio, but she called me savage. If she ever called me darling, wouldn't let me at her advantage. 'Cause I want a girl from Turtle Island, long dark hair, so pretty smiling. I want a girl from Turtle Island, around dance or two-step now, we're so styling. I don't know my hometown, do you know? I don't know the words we spoke ago. 1 million sports teams wanna be like me. They turn around and call me savage. I don't know if you look in my eyes, will you know? My brown eyes, my dark brown eyes, she loves. I want a girl from Little Island, long dark hair, so pretty smiling. I want a girl from Little Island, and dance a two-step, we're so stylish.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know, if you guys are interested in this music, you guys can leave Brock a tip, first of all, through his tip jar through paypal.com. You guys find him. You can also check out the website brockstonefish.com. We're really excited to have him with us here on the B&B Indigenous podcast. As a matter of fact, if you guys like what you see, you can like, share, and subscribe with all of your family and friends. We want to hear from you as Brock decides to take a drink of that Indian milk that, I think they put that in the baby bubba. You know what I'm saying?
Betsy. Brock, you got me bringing out my rattle, man.
I know. I was like waiting for him to start doing some board dancing out there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, get it.
It ain't res if it ain't flat, too, eh? It ain't res if it.
For reals. See, you, all you Canadian natives, all you on the Canadian side of the medicine line natives like that, you guys get real sugar in your soda up there. It's all high fructose corn syrup down here. Hey, yeah, see? And not only that, but you guys, and this is what makes me jealous. Since you were talking about Detroit, there are like 3 or 4 Tim Hortons that I know in Michigan. Like, whether you go to Flint, and I still don't drink the water in Flint, so you know. But Detroit, I was just over there not 2 weeks ago. It's funny. Like, Detroit State Police cars got that singular red light. That stuff just looks so damn goofy. But
I'm only an hour. I'm only an hour from Detroit, eh, Ron?
Yeah, nice. So you're right there, man. I mean, I've driven all across this continent, and I've seen the most beautiful places. You know what scared the hell out of me about Michigan? We had 2 nuclear power plants within like 40 minutes of one another. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, damn, son. Hey, I need to drive faster. Hey, any good powwows coming your way up that way? They
call that area Chemical Valley.
Yeah, that's right. They do. They got a big giant Vietnam War memorial right there. As a matter of fact, I went in there and I was listening to some Anthony Hamilton, one of my favorite R&B artists out there. But this little black girl, she came out of nowhere. She's like, "Oh, you're playing my music." I was like, "Dang, you're what, like 10?" She's like, "Yeah, but you should hear my parents." And she was just going off about it. You know what I mean? I said, "Do you know any old school artists?" She's like, "My mom made me listen to Aretha Franklin." I was like, "Good for you, girl. Good for you." You know what I mean? But they had Tim Hortons right there, and I had
my mom
Tim Hortons like 5 times.
Yeah. You like Tim Hortons more than Dunkin' Donuts?
Oh,
yes,
big time, bro.
yes,
Give me
yes,
Timmy's.
yes, absolutely, yes,
Give me
yes.
Timmy's. Anybody want to order Rock and Ron B some Tim Hortons straight from Canada? I don't want no Amazon Timmy's either. I don't want the States. I want real Timmy's.
We just got our first Tim Hortons here. Where I'm located. And people was like, "What is this Tim Hortons?" I'm the only Indian around. I was like, "Oh, you don't know Tim Hortons?
What the hell's wrong with you?"
Oh, Tim Hortons coffee? You don't understand.
Start massaging your bubbuses around.
You don't understand Tim Hortons. Give me some donuts and coffee from Tim Hortons any day. Hey, I want to give let me step in here just for a second and give another shout out to our sponsor. We are sponsored tonight by Skoden XYZ. If you guys are looking for a new outlet to social media besides Facebook, we have our own indigenous social media platform called Skoden scoden.xyz. It's exactly like Facebook, except it's all natives all the time. So you can get on there and talk about native issues, native good stuff, native memes, jokes, things that only we understand within our community, such as Scoden and
That's right.
baby mamas and powwows. So
Yeah.
come on
And if
over
you're
to
looking to
Scoden
advertise, you
XYZ.
guys want to make money
Absolutely.
in advertising, get on there to scoden.xyz. Don't be afraid.
You can find it on all your major platforms, on your Android and on your Apple devices. Just go to your app stores. It's medicine wheels called Scoden XYZ. Sign up. It's completely free of charge, and it doesn't have the ads on it like Facebook does. And you'll be able to, if you're a seller and you're trying to mostly subscribe to other native buyers, it's the best place in the world. We will be broadcasting our broadcast over to Scoden XYZ here soon because we want to make sure Brock and his group is getting there. Oh, there, Brock's already joining. That's what I'm talking about.
Check it out.
See,
Yep.
the more people we have working with Scoden.xyz is the more opportunity that we can to get us away from all of the restrictions of a non-native social media outlet. I'm going to tell you, like the thing that I'm looking at right here is it's just like being in a res house. Okay, yeah, there it is, man. Yeah. Now we're gonna get Brent to get on there too. He's on his phone right now, so he's like, I don't know about this, you know.
Oh no, and helping you promote. Yeah.
That's right. And that's what we're going to do. We want to make sure and post your information about your website. We want to make sure that native artists, entrepreneurs, and food services professionals are able to get on there. Like I said, we want you to share the powwow flyers, the round dance flyers. Matter of fact, what was it? Carry the Kettle. I think they just had a badass roundy not too long ago. Is there any round dances or powwows that you heard about up in your neck of the woods there, bro?
We just had our round dance 2 weekends ago.
Nice.
Down here on my reserve, and we had a huge turnout. It was a lot of people. I don't know how many singers we had, but how many dancers, but it was a big, huge event anyway. I didn't stay for the whole thing. I left just about midnight, and they were still giving her. And, yeah. But I there's one, there's a whole bunch of them coming up. And if you keep an eye on my Facebook page, you'll see, I'll just post them on my page. Also go on my Facebook page for the Indigenous Youth Guitar Giveaway Series. And, you can keep updated on what's going on there. A lot of that information goes on my Facebook page for that.
Right.
And so I also post round dances and stuff like that on that page as well. But yeah,
I have a question for you, Brock.
Oh, I got a powwow coming up February 25th. Sorry, Pat. February 25th up in Kitchener. The Conestoga College Powwow, Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. They're having a powwow there for 1 day, as far as I know. I'll be singing with a drum group called Little Creek Singers. So I think they're probably going to be host drum or something like that. But they're invited, definitely. But, February 25th. Conestoga College Powwow.
Man, that sounds nice.
I like to dig into your past a little bit, Brock, if it's okay. You know, I want to know some people that really, you know, the trail that you're on. A lot of natives are, you know, they want to go and be a musician, but you know, we're not accepted by every group, as you know. I'm pretty sure you faced your own fallbacks when it comes to non-native people accepted our music, but you've done so well. So, what are some groups that you looked up to when you came up to really inspire you to get into music? Other native musicians that said, you know, if they can do it, you know, I'm going to follow that same path.
Well, I should say first of all, you're never too old to start.
That's right. That's our mom's logo for their band.
Yeah.
Never too old to rock and roll.
I just when I started playing, I was a kid. had just moved from my reserve, and I was getting settled in my reserve finally after all the running around when I was a younger kid, and I was just in my early teens, and you know, developing and getting my homeboys together, and then all of a sudden I had to leave again, and I moved to a town where the arts community was really big, and I was a guy on our drum group. His name was Claude, and he gave me my first guitar, and taught me how to play guitar. And he was also a composer, and he wrote a lot of songs for a drum group as well, and in the Ojibwe language. But yeah, I was 13 years old, and I was just learning how to play guitar, and I traded my Red Wings jacket and $100 for a guitar from him, and that was a good deal. And I was learning from other people as well, because there was a lot of people and like kids. That's how I ended up meeting kids all of a sudden, because fuck, I didn't know any non-native kids, eh? And I had just lived through the incident at Ipperwash. Like I was on the front lines in Ipperwash at age 11, and you know, ready to take on the armed forces in Canada. And, you know, I was the gatekeeper. I was literally an 11-year-old gatekeeper at Ipperwash standoff after the shooting, after they killed Dudley George.
Oh wow!
And then I move into a town and go to school with no Indians.
Yeah. Sound like me and my brother moving into Lake Oswego. There's like, we were the Indians in Lake Oswego.
Yeah. So I was suicidal, and I attempted suicide, and I so that's what brought me out of it, was the guitar. You know, continue playing guitar, and everybody just pushed me towards that, and it kept me going, and I ended up meeting friends that way, and that's how it kept me alive. That's what made me survive, you know. I thought I was invincible till I moved up to that Peterborough. And it was Peterborough, Ontario. And I ended up going to a school that was a integrated art school. So all the other kids that had to get into that school had to audition for the arts program. And because I lived in within the downtown school district where the school was located, I was a small population of the school that was poor.
Yeah.
And they were all rich kids. So I went to school with all these rich kids compared to me. And I remember I would take kids back to the native housing, and they fucking couldn't believe it. They never been to a townhouse before. They'd never seen a townhouse, or they lived in big houses, eh? And this and that. And they go, "Are you kidding me?" And they said, "You live here?" I said, "Yeah, come on in." They said, "No, don't." They thought I was just joking. I said, "No." And then they didn't even realize I was native till I get in there. They thought I was Italian or something, eh? And
you could have been, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what was Stonefish? You know what you think? What were they thinking when they knew my last name was Stonefish or whatever?
I live here in Jersey. I don't think I've ever met an Italian Stonefish out here.
Yeah. There's one. There's one. But so I ended up picking up guitar, and like I said, when I was traveling across the states, I met guys like Talking Leaves, and he gave me a guitar, a Harmony hollow body, and then people were buying. You know, the drum group family that I had all put their money together and bought me a guitar once, like that I lost in New York City in a cab. I left it in the trunk, and
Oh shit.
But like I've always had that support after I just had, I guess I just showed natural talent with the guitar. I hung out in a music store every day. One thing, if you want to get learning how to play guitar, is go hang out in the music store. And the people that work in there, they're going to help you out. They're going to tell you their story. And every store's got a different story. And just go hang out in a couple different stores and get to know. Find somebody you like. If you don't like somebody in one store, then come back another day or go to another store. Find somewhere where you get along with the guy. Don't worry about the guitars that are on the wall. That's what I'll tell you. If you want to get into music, just go to the music store where you can get along with the person and
hell yeah.
And then start, because then they're going to be honest with you. They're going to help you out. But yeah, and then that's what I did. I would hang out in this Edge Music, and there's a guy named Don Skuse, and he's one of the biggest. It turned out I didn't even know he was one of the biggest collectors of guitars in the world. Had one of the biggest collections ever, and I didn't realize this. And I would hang out in his shop, and he took me in like he treated me like a son, and he would show me how to work on these guitars, and I would go hang out in there at lunchtime or on my way home from school or whatever at night. After school, I'd be just sitting there playing those guitars, all his guitars, and he just wanted to give me a guitar so bad that I could tell he would just pull down these guitars and he'd say, "Just give me a couple $100 for this guitar, and then just pay me in installments." And I'm like 13, 14 years old, 15, 16. I hung out in there till I was probably pretty consistently up until I was about 15 or 16. And then I was kind of on my own, doing my own thing. Because by the time I was 15, I was actually teaching guitar in another music store, Mars Music, his competitor. But anyway,
was he mad?
One time, no, he was proud of me. Good. But I would go there, and my mom would still go to Edge Music. And he would send a T-shirt, a pack of Edge Music T-shirt, Edge Music strings, and a couple things just on top of whatever she bought, and just said, tell him happy birthday from me. And then I always got things for my birthday from him, and so I would go in there, and I ended up, I had my first job after I graduated grade 8. I was working for a guy in our drum group named Randy Smoke on Alderville First Nation, Ontario, Canada. And I worked for his family there, him and his brothers, and I was just like a carpenter's helper. And we did roofing and jacking up cottages, leveling cottages along the lake there. They live on they're the Mississauga Indians of Rice Lake, Ontario.
Yeah.
So anyway, I worked there, and I raised enough money. I ended up going there and buying myself my first Stratocaster off of him, and I ended up. It's funny now. I think about it right now. I bought that Stratocaster with the money I made working on the land of the Mississaugas of Rice Lake. I took that guitar. I took it on tour with Gary Farmer across the country. I came back. I took it to the Guitar Boutique, another music store that was a high-end guitar place. So I thought. Didn't realize my buddy Don Skuse was like one of the best in the world. So they fixed up my guitar for nothing. Oh no, Don Skuse had already closed his shop already by this time. Edge Music had already closed by this time. And so the boutique had opened, and he tried to pass it on to this guy Wyatt, and this Wyatt took over the boutique. And I went there, and then there's this another Italian guy named Natarangelo, and I knew him as well, and he owned a ranch resort that held conventions and stuff like that. Anyhow, he says, "Brock, I'll take your guitar, I'll fix it up." And I went to another music store, that I'd hang out. See, I'd hang out in all these music stores. I'd develop a relationship with everybody, and I would get a deal everywhere. And I'd go over to Bud's Music and Bud Monahan's. Now it's along on McQuaid today, but and they sold me a pair of Gibson pickups, the kind that's in the original 335s that they used to make back. Well, not the original 335s, but anyway, they eventually start using these Gibson 490s, I think they're called. Anyway, I took them to this boutique and they put them in the guitar for free of charge. Souped it all up. I had another guy in New Mexico work on the frets. He did the frets. I took it on tour across the United States again, brought it back to Canada. I ended up giving it to the chief of Alderville First Nation's son, Jordan Mowat. I traded
Jordan,
him.
no kidding.
I traded him that Stratocaster, and that Stratocaster, you were in that room with me, and I was playing it. It's a black guitar that I had on that tour out in
That's
Portland,
right.
Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guitar in that case that had speakers in it.
Man, that was a nice case, bro.
I gave that whole setup to Jordan Mowat, traded him for $100 guitar that he had.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
so
Jordan's a
there you go.
dancer too, man.
So that's how I was saying, how I was thinking about it now, how it went around full circle. I went and worked out on that territory of the Mississaugas, made the money to buy it, ended up going back, giving it to somebody from there. So anyway.
That's pretty amazing though, man.
Yeah,
and I tell you what, that's the thing about music that I can say, this is my personal experience. Like growing up in the house, I mean, we all deal with intergenerational trauma. We've all dealt with alcohol and drug addiction. We've all dealt with issues of suicide or, depression or things that affect our native people all the way through. But if there's one thing that I can remember growing up for myself personally, it was music. What saved my life, not just contemporary music, blues, jazz, rock, metal, death metal, classical, jazz, you name it, reggaeton, ska, techno, whatever, all music. But that big drum, the hand drum, round dances, I didn't start jamming round dances like consistently until I was about 12, 13 years old. Then I really started getting into it because I knew that was my people. Plus Commonies too. Our Ojibwe people are Common people. Them side steps you always see there'll be a round dance in Minnesota, but they'll bust out some Commonies. You know what I mean? And that's that good medicine for the heart and soul. But I could tell you, like Stevie Ray Vaughan, I would listen to Riviera Paradise on repeat. And as much as I don't like the SOB nowadays, Ted Nugent, that dude was insane when I was a kid, man. I'd sit there and play my uncle's albums and just be listening to Stranglehold over and over and over again. You know what I
mean? Yeah.
See?
That song? No. Unfortunately, all I remember, sorry.
You know what I'm saying, bro?
Bluesmen always singing saying that they don't mind dying. Bluesmen always singing, saying that they don't mind dying. Yeah, no, baby, not me. I gotta hold you till the end of time. I'm so sorry, baby, things I used to do. I'm so sorry, baby, things I used to do. You know I love you, just tell me you love me too. Cause bluesmen always singing, saying I don't mind dying. Bluesmen always singing, yeah, saying that they don't mind dying. Yeah, no, baby, not me. Gotta hold you to the end of time. Wait a minute, darling, don't you stop to crying. So sorry, darling, don't you stop to crying. Don't you break my heart, don't you tell me don't mind dying. Yeah, no, baby, not me. I wanna hold you till the end of time. Yeah, no, baby, not me. I'm gonna hold you till the end of time.
You're tuned into the B&B Indigenous Podcast right here on YouTube.com as well as Facebook.com. Brock Stonefish checking in with his brother from the same mother. That's right, Mr. Brent Stonefish. He's got mute status going on. I don't know if it was the same way in their house, but like our house, we would get our electronic benefits transfer, aka food stamps, hustle down to the market and go trade in some of them food stamps for candy and stuff like that. Now, Brent said Brock is the youngest of 8, right? Isn't that what it is? Man, you know what I mean? Was he like me, tapping on every single surface in the house? I couldn't stop drumming on anything. My mom's like, this boy's gonna be a percussionist. He even said it in my baby book, and sure enough, you know what I mean? I want to say thanks, man, for you guys being on here tonight. It's been amazing, you know. And there's a lot more to talk about. And as a matter of fact, if we could get Brock, we want you to come back. We really, really want you to come back. We want Gary to come and join in too. You know what I'm saying? We got some stories with Gary.
We have a tour coming up, and we don't know what. I'm not really going to announce any sort of dates, but there will be a tour coming up. I'll be part of his tour actually.
Nice.
And that's what's going to happen to promote the album that he produced, because he produced the album I just released. I forgot to mention that Gary Farmer produced this album I just released on January 17th. We registered it to CD Baby. So by the time it was out on all the platforms like Spotify, iTunes, iMusic, Pandora, everywhere else, by the time it was out, I think it was like January 20th or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, he produced it, and it was kind of co-produced by John O'Manson, and he engineered the sound. He produced the sound for Blues Traveler.
Yeah, he
and
did.
recorded
One of my favorite
all the
groups
blues
ever.
stuff. Yeah. So you're gonna hear on that album, if you haven't heard the album yet, for the listeners right now or viewers, but all that harmonica work is Gary Farmer playing harmonica.
He gets down.
And
He gets
Yeah, he
down
does.
just like
Yeah, he does.
just like Blues
he's
Traveler, man. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
he's pretty
John's
serious.
bad to the bone, but
Yeah.
Gary's bad to the bone too. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's
Yeah.
his name on the Reservation Dogs? I always mess that up.
Is it Uncle Bucky?
It's
Oh,
something.
come
It's
on.
Uncle
Let's
something
get
or
it
other.
wrong.
I hear Uncle. Hey, speaking of Brock's new
Don't
album,
make me look it up. I don't want to look it up and lose the page now.
speaking of Brock's album, Turtle Island, tonight we're doing a special giveaway of a digital copy. And
That's
right
right.
now we are going to announce the winner of said digital album. So we're gonna let's Miss Brenda Hill
Dun, 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 dun,
is the winner of tonight's digital album. How we pick our people, how we pick our winners, our guests that comment the most and share and like and subscribe. Brenda is a longtime listener. Every time she gets on here, she is sharing our videos, getting the word out about our podcast, sharing the information about our artists. So Brenda Hill, you are tonight's winner of the digital album. Reach out to us so we can get your address and you'll be able to enjoy that good music. Good music. And I'm going to give a little applause.
There you go.
All right, back to
And
you
as
guys.
well, if you would like to help
Yeah, I was
Brock
gonna say,
bring the joy of guitar with his Indigenous Youth Guitar Giveaway Series, you can send him donations right to his PayPal via Facebook Messenger. Also, if you'd like to bring Brock along with Gary Farmer and the Troublemakers to Portland, Oregon Blues Festival, like I know my brother and I and a lot of our family want, we want you guys to let us know. As well, if you'd like to see him live and in person on your reserve or reservation stateside, you can book him in advance by calling 519-784-1354. Again, that number 519-784-1354. Now that's Ontario, right, bro?
Yep. Southern Ontario, Southwestern Ontario, yeah. I'm right off the 401. I'm only about 2 miles off the 401. Literally.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I can bring my Woodlands gear up there. Hey, if I had Woodlands gear and then come dance Woodland style. I am Ojibwe, so it makes sense.
If you were driving your big rig through here, like say you wanted to cut through instead of cut across 90, and like say if you're heading across like the Rochester and you want to cut through here, you can park your big rig right here in my driveway.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I need to come out there and park my big rig. I was going to do that with Patrick, too. He says, we can find you a place to park over here.
Come
like,
on, man. I'm
let
right here in
over.
New York. You boys want to crash here at the house? My house is always open. I always got food going on. You can also purchase Brock's album right now. It is for sale.
That's right.
You can reach out to Brock. He not only does you can buy a digital album, he also has pen drives with all of his music on, signed and autographed pen drives in the shape of a guitar. Brock, show us that again. Right there,
those are dope little thumb drives, bro. It's a guitar drive. Yeah, you've got the actual drive for the guitar that you plug in with your 1/4 inch. And then boom, look at that flash drive right there. Plugs right into your USB port. Some really awesome music. And I know you guys are probably going to try and bootleg it, but don't. You know what I mean? What was that? I was watching a docu-series out there. This guy was all talking about how he was in LA. You know, he's big in the hip-hop game. Next thing you know, he's like, I see my cousin's music over there, man. I was walking down the streets of Brooklyn like that. All of a sudden, I looked down, and this little Asian dude had a bunch of bootlegs set up. He's like, that's how you know you're getting big, bro. He says, when they start bootlegging you in Brooklyn and the Bronx.
I got a whole load of these things.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, what's the purchase price for those, buddy?
$20.
$20.
And you can and you keep and it's kind of like it's because it's kind of helped promote my giveaway series too, the guitar giveaway series, and it's a 4 gig drive, so you got a 4 gig drive too, so
that's right.
So you can store guitar. And you can store 4 gigs, whatever you want on there, and you got it for life. And my music. But I don't know. Is it worth $20? What are you shaking your head over there?
Hell yeah, it's worth $20. I'm trying to get. What are you talking about? Hell yeah! What do you? I'm like I'm hosting the radio. Helping host the radio show, and I'm sitting here trying to get my pennies where I can get me one. What are you talking about? Heck yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Well, yeah, I'll send you guys one. Yeah, I'll get you guys one. Yeah,
I want one for sure.
Yeah.
You almost made me flip over when you were singing. You almost made me flip over to my fedora.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I wear
nice
this backwards. It's actually a fedora. You wear it backwards, like the bluesman swagger. It's a real hobo bluesman swagger.
Well, you guys are getting all serious now. I'm gonna have to go offline too. See,
Brett, get yours, Brett.
Goods, you know what I mean? I normally don't wear it, but now
I call this my Puerto Rican look.
See, so we're getting live.
There you go.
You keep that in good shape. Yeah, I'll have to put some.
That's what I do. Yeah, that's what I do, bro.
Oh.
I beat the hats, bro. I do a lot of beat.
Where's all my hats? Yeah, you do the beat.
I got a hat at the dry cleaners right now.
Yeah, right.
Look at this big pimpin' right here. He pulled this out like about a month ago. Yeah,
holy smokes.
MC hats. Oh, look at that!
This was
man. You got a Blue Jays hat.
A buddy of mine gave that to me from Cape Cod. Seth Pocknett gave that to me a couple months ago. They were up visiting from Cape Cod.
Nice. You should be on the microphone at the powwow right now. All right, men's traditional dancers, you need to be making your way out onto the floor at this time. I'm going to be joining you here, and don't forget to check your dingle balls. I mean your dance bells.
I see you guys got your wampum out too. You guys want? Now we're playing Mr. Dress Up. I got some cufflinks.
Oh, nice. Is that wampum?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Wampum, I'm down, bro.
I'm down with the wampum now.
I know, that's why I seen that. They said these are given to me by Chinook Pocknet. You give me this too.
I'm Tuscarora, baby. I live in wampum.
Look at that.
Nice.
Hey, look at this. I found this beadwork right here. So you need Puyallups that left your beadwork over there on the wash basin at Labor Day powwow. I got it. It's tied around my wash-up bell because it keeps me honest.
Found it.
So we're showing off native beautifuls. You know what I mean?
He found it. He found it on the ground. He found it on the ground.
I found it in your tent when I went through your.
That's how I roll. So that's how I roll, folks. Yeah. And those other hands aren't dummy hands. They actually work.
Dang. What's that? He got the Indian Rolex, bro, made out of
Indian Rolex. It rolls backward. Indian Rolex where it rolls backwards.
See that finish? That finish is made with crushed wampum.
You can pick that up right now at Macy's downtown Manhattan.
You can find that on your local blanket anywhere you go shopping in Inland.
Hey, I'm going to rub it in a little bit. My Hawks lost to the 49ers, and then the 49ers lost to the Philadelphia Eagles tonight. Who are you guys going for? Are you going for the Bengals? Or are you going for Kansas? I'm not going to say the way I say it. Kansas City Chiefs? Or are you guys going to be all up in Philadelphia's game this year?
No,
you guys are all East Coasters. So.
I hate Philly so much. I'm going to go with them Kansas City Chiefs. I hate Philly so much. And it's not that I hate Philly. When you live where I live, you learn to hate the fans. I hate the fans so much that it makes me hate the team so bad.
And see, Nikki just I didn't even know. I didn't know the Chiefs won. So wow, I guess that's it. The Bengals have been out, man. I'm back in the day when Boomer Esiason used to play for the Bengals, man. I was hardcore. I mean, I've always been a diehard Seahawks fan since I was a baby. So, and then of course I was rooting for the Lions too. Since you were talking about Detroit, like Detroit's been doing good these last couple seasons. So I'm like, man, I watched some
Detroit
always action.
Detroit always did good in the last couple seasons.
Here in Canada on the news, they don't even talk about football.
I know.
The Canadian,
so you never know.
But the Canadian Football League is fantastic.
Yeah, they only talk about CFL, so you're not going to hear much about NFL around here.
Right.
So yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Hey, I was watching Hockey Night in Canada. Hey, all the northern.
I used to
Oilers fans.
I used to work at. Oh yeah. That's Edmonton, yeah.
Yeah, Edmonton, hardcore.
Yeah, but
you're a Flames fan, so that's a bloodlust, like hardcore, rivalry right there. The Calgary Flames, and if you're from Canada and you're actually from Calgary, a lot of people up in that area they say Calgary. Where are you from? I'm from Calgary.
I used to work at Gillette Stadium.
Boston, yeah.
Yeah, over Foxborough. So I used to see my fair share of Patriots games. And so when I lived down there, you had to know about football back then. So yeah, I used to watch it quite a bit. And we worked all the home games. So all the staff at the Plymouth Plantation, one of the guys, Skinawity, Dave King, he was married to this lady, Liz King, and she was Portuguese and Apache. He'd say, "She's my Apacheese," he'd say. But anyway, she was Miss Miss Rhode Island at some point, and she was the head of one of the banks, the Fleet Banks at Providence, Rhode Island. So she got us to gig working all they like that Apacheese one, eh?
That's gonna be on a new T-shirt. That's my new T-shirt right there. I'm in love with Apacheese. I'm in love with the Apacheese.
You gotta say Dave King said that, though.
Oh, that's good. Well, actually, I don't watch football as much as I used to. I got called out by one of my elders because I was a big football fan, and I was buying all the merchandise and stuff. And my uncle, which used to be an assistant coach for the Iroquois lacrosse team, he goes, you always talk about supporting our native people, but you spend more money in NFL than you do. Is how many Baltimore Ravens jerseys you have? Like 4. He said, how much they cost? I was like $85 each. He goes, how much Iroquois lacrosse stuff do you have? I said, well, I have a lacrosse stick. He goes, yeah, see, exactly. You're not supporting your own people. Your money should stay away from the NFL. Your money should go into, since we've been trying to go into the Olympics with the Iroquois lacrosse team, that's where your money needs to go, and you're not supporting our own team. It just really made me feel horrible. So I kind of backed away from football and started spending more time watching lacrosse now, just because I got called out.
Well,
did you watch the World? Did you watch the Worlds where you watched that?
Yeah, I got a couple of family members that players, like first cousins that play, and the way they did us this year was horrible. Where they denied us to go to the World. They first denied us to be in the World Cup. Then they accepted us, and then they accepted us at the last minute. And then they flew over there on a red-eye flight and played the very next day, exhausted. No other team had to go through that. Still won our first game, and then we lost the second game. And it was just like, and we're still the best in the world. They know we're the best. That's why they don't want to accept us the way. And the reason they wouldn't fly us over, they wouldn't accept our passports, the Haudenosaunee passports that we fly everywhere with. They didn't want to accept the Haudenosaunee passports, which finally they accepted them at the last minute and allowed us to play. And we still kicked the hell out of the first team.
That's right. Well, and I keep saying that Jim Thorpe is the reason why the NFL became a franchise to begin with. That football is a native thing. Like if it wasn't for Jim Thorpe, the NFL wouldn't exist the way that it does today. And that's hands down. You look up historical references. So natives have had their hands in football and lacrosse. Lacrosse, that's the creator's game.
That's right. our game. We
That's right. I
invented
never
that. It was
forget it
our
either.
game. And Fireball, baby, we need to bring Fireball to the Olympics.
That's right.
They think natives are
wow.
they think natives are crazy. Let them see us go to a picnic playing Fireball.
Yeah. Well, it's been really amazing to have you guys on tonight. Brett talked for about 13 seconds, I think I counted.
I actually have a question for Brett. I'm glad you brought Brett up. I'm going to put
Yeah.
Brett up. So, Brett, what is it like being the brother of this guy right here? What is it like having a brother like this guy right here? Wow. It seems like you're the more subdued guy. You got to ring him in every now and then.
I you know, he's talking about when he first started you know, playing guitar. I still remember vividly, you know, some of the songs that he wrote and the yellow paper that he would write his songs on, and looking at the lyrics. And I remember that my mother was really poor. Me and my older brother, my late older brother Bruce, we lived in Peterborough at the time when they did, because we were going to school at Trent University. But I remember my mother, she was really poor, and she really, you know, Brock was a really good hockey player. Like you know, we always believed that he had the potential to go to the NHL at one point. But when they moved to Peterborough, she didn't have money to put him in hockey. And when he got into the guitar, she was so happy because she could have, you know, because it was something that was cheaper than hockey. Because by then, hockey started becoming elitist. You know, that only the rich could play hockey. You know, because the amount of that we had to pay for equipment, or even registration, or going on a travel team, is just outrageous.
Yeah.
And so when he got into the guitar, you know, I remember she was really wanted to get him guitar, and I remember he was coming up to his birthday, and she wanted to get him a guitar, and she was going to Ed's and checking out the prices, and she says, and at the time I said, well, I'll help you pay for it, and I said, but she still didn't have enough, and we didn't have enough, and so he said, let's go to bingo. You know, let's go to bingo. And didn't she frickin' win the money to pay for that guitar? You know, and she was just so happy. You know, I mean, my mom was his number one fan, and you know, and we tried everything. I remember sitting in the, you know, at the computer and helping him, you know, burn CDs and putting putting the labels on the CDs, getting ready for his next show, and you know,
Yeah.
trying to, you know, you know, he's just whatever Brock puts his mind to, he's just phenomenal at. I mean, he's just phenomenal, and we always recognize that because growing up, because there's 8 years between me and him. You
Sure.
know, and so he was, you know, when he was born, he was my little baby. You know, because I was only 8 years old, right? And he was my little brother, and you know, he was even the best man in my wedding. You know, that's how much he means to me. I had good friends, I had best friends, but you know, none of them compared to him. You know, that's just the way we are, just the way we were, and you know, family
Sure.
meant everything. So yeah, definitely, he's definitely, we're proud of him, and I always believe that his music could change the world. You know, I
It's
always
definitely
believe that.
changing the world for the better.
Yeah,
For artists, you know, that I can say this is from my own experience. When you see artists out there, they kind of front for something else as opposed to focus on what's going on within our own collective. You know, that's why powwow, round dance, and a lot of our other native celebrations and ceremonies are so important, is because they keep it just to us. Not
yeah,
to say that I'm excluding everybody else, but for an artist in our realm, from our tribes, Lenape or Delaware or Mashantucket, Pequot, or wherever, for them to be able to dive into those contemporary genres of music. If it wasn't for our native people, blues would not be the way that it is today. I mean, and that's the same for two equally oppressed cultures that slavery, genocide, you name it. It's been those combinations and contributions. So to have Brock and other Native artists out there that are doing this, when I heard Gary live for the first time, I was like, damn, bro, these guys are really bringing it. And this is the thing that I can say, like you said, if it's a blessing to see his music getting out there. And that's why, to me, I want to be able to encourage the youth. I want that to continue. You know what I'm saying? And I want Patrick to chime in on this too, because I can tell you what, from my experience in our house, if it wasn't for music, I probably wouldn't be here today. If it wasn't for music, I wouldn't be able to express myself the way that I love to. I record on my iPad. I'll record on my phone any chance I get when it comes to writing songs or whatever. But when I hear those quality lyrics that focus on those issues, like he's talking about MMIW, he's talking about lifetime experiences. You guys grew up that way. We're sharing that. We're sharing that load. If we can do that with music and we can lift some of that burden and that hurt that we've been dealing with intergenerational trauma, and to hear that your mom supported you guys so much like that, to me, that's beautiful. And I know a lot of our Native women and men out there, when it comes to our kids, not everybody gets that same opportunity, but the more we support our children, the greater they become. And so that's why I'm going to take that time to say, yes, it's important.
Yeah, one of my mom's favorite songs that's on the album was "Pounding on My Soul," and she would sit up front and she would watch him. That would be just her favorite song. And he's got a lot of the other great songs too, like her Crystal Ball, which is not on it will probably be on the next album, hopefully.
Hopefully.
That's my favorite song. Yeah, her Crystal Ball. That's my favorite.
Oh, there's a lot of really good songs. I got a lot of really good songs that weren't on there yet.
Yeah. Well, that means we got a lot more to carry. See, but you're a great example of what we call an indigenous ladder.
Something like that Bluesman Always Singing was one.
Yeah.
That song I sang, Bluesman Always Singing, that was one of my first blues songs I wrote. The one I just played for you guys.
That was beautiful, bro.
I'll play another one. Yeah. Well, I'll play Pounding on My Soul for you guys.
Yes.
Bong, bong, bing, bang, bong. Pounding on my soul again. It's coming by my mind, through my blood. Everything is echoing. Bong, bong, bing, bang, bong. Pounding on my soul again. I'm gonna start to knock on wood, 'cause I might never hear it again. The sun is shining through my window on a smile she said last night could never forget. I saw the bed sheets right down her waist as she climbed the pillow a mountain out of my bed. Suddenly alarm clock went right off when I woke up. It was all just a dream. I felt so relieved that my special one was not next to me, 'cause I'm not ready. I took a wrong turn down a dark road so cold I had to dream about a woman that could make my body warm. Some people drink themselves asleep and smoke themselves awake just to think about a woman used to make their body warm. Last night or last weekend, be any given day, did I make it to be of my Last girl she asked me, well, I tell her that I quit so she keep loving me. I saw myself eye to eye when I looked in the mirror. I felt so damn bad, I hung my head down low. I said, sweet sugar now candy girl, well, you call it snow, but she's got to quit the blow. She was much too high, tiny moment too long. When she finally see it, hope to think of the song that goes bong bong bang bang bong, pounding in my soul again. I'm gonna start to knock on wood, 'cause I might never hear it again. Bong bong bang bang bong, pounding in my soul again. It's got me through my mind, through my blood. Everything is echoing.
Woo!
You know, I'm gonna jump right in here and say, Brock, you know, you're something what my grandfather used to call a ladder ending. You ever heard of the word ladder ending?
No.
Well, the reason he called certain people a ladder ending. So you have crabs in the bucket, which we're very well known for because we pull each other down, and then you have ladder endings. The ladder endings are the ones that will get down on all fours and let somebody else climb on them and build and continue to build that ladder up higher and higher and higher.
That's right.
And through your youth organization, it helps you give away guitars through like for me as a young man, Ron was saying, music helped me get through my life. I was homeless. I had alcoholism through my family. You know, after my wife passed away, I ended up trying to commit suicide. You know, being in Iraq for 12 years, three tours Iraq. Music was everything. And I used to put on, like, some of my soldiers used to listen to some of my native people that I used to play because they didn't know we had music like this. I think being native, we have a different perspective on things the way we live. And it was nice to hear music that identified what I went through, walking barefoot down dirt roads on the res. You know what I mean? Or, you know, hearing the neighbors scream and shout 4th of July for 4 days. You know, you couldn't afford much food, but when 4th of July came around, everybody had fireworks. You know, or, you know, just getting tax refunds and getting rims on a old car that didn't really work. You know, growing up in that mindset of being looking forward to commods every week, even though you knew that was all you were getting was commodity cheese and canned ham.
Right.
So that music, it meant a great deal for me because I heard like, okay, I'm not the only one that went through this. And, you know, because, you know, being native, going through these things, man, kids don't understand commods. They don't understand being forced to eat powdered eggs, you know. So when you hear it played in music, you're like, oh, I remember that. I remember we were poor, but we had peanut butter. You had to mix first. You know, you had to sit and
I like powdered eggs, bro, if they're cooked right. So
so absolutely, you're definitely what we call a ladder ending. You're that guy that is for us, our younger generation, like my daughter that wants to play the guitar. She wants to see other native people playing. She looks at people like you, and she looks at people that are on stage that look like her, that sound like her, that's been through what she's been through. She goes, okay, all right, they can do it. I have no excuse. They've gotten through it. I have no excuse anymore. So you eliminate that excuse factor within our people. Oh, you can't say, well, Native people won't be accepted. Well, we got Native people that are accepted. We have Native people that are on stage. Seeing people like Gary Farmer and the Blues Band and the great, what is that? I can't even think of the name. Traveler, the Blues Traveler.
Well, I'm not John O'Manson there. John O'Manson, he's the, but Gary, he's promoted so much, you know, like he started, you know, up here in Canada, they got what's called the APTN, the Aboriginal People's Television.
Yes.
And
we get it down here if you get it.
And Gary started that with his own money. And then somebody took it over on him. I don't know what happened, but nobody ever talks about that and how he started that, and he's given everybody a chance to play in his band. I'm not the only one who's played in his band. Like Like he's like right now he's got a whole band that he's playing with right now, and I think they're a 6-piece band right now,
Yeah.
and they're all from like New Mexico area, and but he's had a lot of different guys. I know even when I was on tour with him, a couple tours, we had a different bass player or different drummer each tour. You know, I think over the course of like about 3 years, we went to, I think, yeah, we did 3 different drummers. Yeah.
Well, see, that's how artists, like Steely Dan, they did it. As a matter of fact, if you know anything about native blues legends or guitar legends, I mean, the name Jesse Ed Davis. I'll be talking about
Yeah.
Rumble all the time, but I knew about Jesse when I was a little kid, and you had George Harrison and Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney and John Lennon of the Beatles, Eric Clapton, and all the rest of those guys were saying this guy is probably the best guitarist that ever lived. And that's his generation. And like I said, way he flipped that over and brought that to the movement. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're seeing with artists such as yourself. That you were born with that music. It's like a tea bag. You put that in the water, and then all of a sudden you see it just start permeating out there and all that goodness. Right? It doesn't matter what kind of tea is a good kind of tea. There's somewhere. Everybody's got their choice, but that's that kind of flavor that you're bringing too. And I can see, like you were saying, giving people the opportunity, man. If I got the opportunity to sit down on the drums, bro, trust me, we're gonna take it to the next level. Be like groups like Indigenous, about that group right there. Mato, Wamdi, those cats, they get down. You know what I'm saying? I would love to actually have a native blues series or just a native music festival. If we could organize something like that to where we get all of these artists to travel to one location. Or hell, we could even make it a traveling situation,
Yeah. I'm working with a group that's trying to establish that right now, or they already have, and I'm kind of the new guy on the scene, and they're called the Landback. I don't know if you heard of Landback 1492 crew. They took over the Caledonia over by Six Nations, and the guy that runs. His name is Skylar Williams.
Patrick, you look like you had an epiphany.
Yes, I did. Speaking of the 1492s, my brother, which was on the show, the 1491s, we're talking about 1491s. My brother is acting in their play right now. The tickets are available right here. That's right in Princeton, New Jersey. It's all written and produced by the 1491s. We'd love for you guys to come out and support. It's all native cast. It's called In Between Those Needs. Which, as a native person, I could come up with so many jokes right now. But that's the name of the show. 1491's all written and produced it. And my brother, John Scott Richardson, is acting in it right now. So you guys look for your tickets. The show's is fantastic.
So we need to get Brock to play the next theme song for the next big Native First Nations Indigenous television show, broadcast on APTN as well as Pow Wow Television Network and all over Turtle Island. Hey, What was that show with Jason Momoa where he played a half-breed Cree native, right? And it was like about the Hudson Bay trading
Frontier.
Frontier, yeah. Bear Creek, man. That's Bear Creek and Northern Cree right there singing that soundtrack for the beginning of that show, bro. That show's fire. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even get to finish the series. I'm mad.
I would love to see you perform with Cody Blackbird, one of my favorite artists out there. I love Cody Blackbird. He when we were out in Arizona, he gave me a brand new drone flute for me to continue my flute playing. He wanted to hear what I sound like on a drone, and he gifted me a beautiful drone flute. And I'm trying to get him on the show, but he's crazy busy right now. But I'd love to see you guys perform together, you and Cody Blackbird.
Man, that would be so awesome, and to be able to get it televised, I think.
Send me a link to him there, Pat.
Okay, I will. Absolutely, he's a native blues artist, but he adds a lot of native flute within it. Absolutely fantastic. Cody Blackbird is phenomenal, and also one of my people I look up to in the flute community.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, if we, like I said, I mean, my brother and I are both big into the music situation like you guys are. But here, like I said, if we could organize something that would be a native music festival in the summertime, of course, there's powwows going on. That's why Canada holds weekday and weekend powwows, because there's so many reserves wanting to have celebrations and they can't have them on the weekend because they don't want to contradict other celebrations. We want to do a music thing that's the same way for contemporary native music and bring
That's
people
right.
out of the woodwork.
And it can't be West Coast, god dang it. I'm tired of traveling. Y'all come to the East Coast a little bit. We miss some, y'all get all the natives on that side. Us East Coast natives want y'all to come over here and perform over here too. God dang it.
Yeah, well, these guys
and
are
you're Lenape.
inside the
You're
narrow west side,
Lenape. You
so
better get your Lenape. Bring your ass back home.
objection, Your Honor.
Well, when's the next event down that way? Well, what do you guys got coming up that I can come to?
We have the Shinnecock Powwow, which is a fit. I would love to get you out here to perform. No disrespect to Arvil. There's this guy named Arvil here that performs all the time, all the time. To get somebody out here, yes, Jesus Christ, the devil went down to whatever. I'd love to have you come out here and I'm sorry.
To Georgia, Pat.
No, he got his own spin on it. Arvil's got his own spin on it. So I'd love to have you come out here and perform.
Nicholas just brought up the Black Hills, as a matter of fact, and the Jim Pepper Music Festival here in the Pacific Northwest. If anybody knows about Jim Pepper, he'd been in the music scene when he was around for a long, long time. But this is what we want. We want to hear from you people as well. All of you viewers out there on the B&B Indigenous podcast. First of all, again, I'm going to say thank you for tuning in with us tonight. It's been wonderful that you guys are here along with us. But we want to hear from you. We want to know what makes you guys smile, who you want to see in your community. No,
where's our powwow? Where's our powwow organizers at? Come on, our powwow organizers needs to get on this place and start hiring this man.
Anybody there got any questions?
Oh, there we go.
They got people. You guys got people got questions?
I'm looking through them now.
Well, I know a whole bunch of people have been responding. As a matter of fact, Love had brought up something about Jimi Hendrix. And as a matter of fact, I invited Jimmy's nephew, Tyrone. Tyrone's played around the world with a lot of, mainstream artists. So I can tell you what, if you know anything about the Hendrix family in general, they are natives too, but there's native blood through their family. But there's a lot of native artists out there. My biggest question, who is your biggest influence outside of our native ways, outside of our native people?
Biggest influence?
Yeah, your biggest guitar influence.
Well, Eric Clapton, probably.
Yeah.
Everybody always says I sound like Clapton. I know a lot of people, guitar players do too.
One of the first Clapton songs you learned was Tears in Heaven.
Tears in Heaven, that's right. If I close my eyes and I saw you in heaven. That's a cut, though. Yeah. Wasn't that about his baby? It was his baby, huh? My brother wants to know, what kind of music do you like outside of what you play, Brock?
I like all kinds of music. Jeez. A lot of R&B, I guess I've been listening to. I've been listening to a lot of female singers. Celeste.
Yeah.
Okay. Erykah
Badu. Georgia Smith from. Have you ever heard of Georgia Smith? She's a British singer. Oh man, her voice is like brass when she sings. A lot of these artists and her, I love her. Like I'm in love with her.
Oh, no. I was just talking about them earlier. As a matter of fact, Love brought that up. I was like, you know what? Her and Michelle Indigeocello, if you know anything about her back in the 90s, Michelle Indigeocello was on fire. But she did a song with Robert Glasper, her and herself. Man, I tell you what, though. Like, out here on the West Coast, we got a good friend of ours named LaRonda Steele. I don't know if you heard of LaRonda, but LaRonda, she plays in a lot of local clubs around Portland, Seattle, different spots around the Pacific Northwest and beyond. She's been on the stage over there at the Blues Festival in Portland there. But yeah, man, I tell you what, those are some influential artists. You know who else? Like I said, I brought up, I call her Auntie Bonnie Raitt, probably one of the dopest vocalists of all time, as far as I'm concerned. Can take the song "Little Runaway" and turn that into a contemporary song.
Yeah, Bonnie Raitt something else. I stayed at a hotel at Harvard Square. I forget what the hell the Charles. You guys ever stay at the Charles Hotel? Boston, Harvard Square.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, there's the Charles River, but anyway, Bonnie Raitt was there, and we stayed on the same floor as Bonnie Raitt. Anyway, it was a big deal.
We mingled.
But we didn't. Yeah, we were that close. We were breathing the same air.
Nice. See, that was the great thing about being around.
See, I'm just taking a shot.
Maple syrup.
I haven't eaten very much today, so I'm just getting my sugar levels up here. So
I was a huge fan, still is, of Robbie Robinson. That was when I grew up. It was being Haudenosaunee, being Tuscarora, seeing a Mohawk on stage and performing, and not just performing, but dedicating music to Native people, writing music about Native people, talking about Native people. I mean, I have an issue with a lot of musicians and actors that claim Native blood, but they're only Native when it becomes popular. They're Native like when they want to be, but when it comes down to actually talking about the issues, actually talking about Native people, actually bringing other Native artists, it's like I was never I like Jimi Hendrix, but I never liked Jimi Hendrix because he had Native blood, because he cared less about being Native. Nobody knew he was Native till long after he passed away. He claimed he had Native blood in him, but he was just never a guy that I thought was a Native artist. Robbie Robinson was definitely that guy that actually made an album about being Native, about even what's his name? The Man in Black. He did a Native album.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash did a Native album. People that talked about issues within the Native community is the ones that I was like the most inspired by. Like, oh wow, man, they actually care about us. I mean, people are making millions of dollars actually talking about us. They're not just claiming Native blood. You know.
Yeah.
Well, see,
you know who's a good ladder Indian? A good ladder Indian is that Stevie Salas.
Stevie Salas, yes.
He's the one who put that thing together, that whole rumble, that whole series. You know that. As far as I know, I don't know. It was just a rumor, but I heard he had a lot to do with putting together the American Idol in the beginning.
Right.
The American version.
Yeah, American Idol. Like he was, he was in charge of putting like the music production or whatever or something like that. I don't know if that's true or just a rumor, but I've always believed it to be true.
Well, Love just said that Jimmy lived over in Wampanoag territory there on Cape Cod. You stayed out there in Cape Cod too. Did you ever end up on a fishing boat when you was out there, Brock?
Oh yeah. Ended up on plenty. I went all the way out to Nantucket. That was the furthest I went out on the ocean. Just about 37 miles off the mainland.
Yeah.
So I played out at a music festival out there. I was singing with Eastern Suns.
Hey,
and I was drumming with Eastern Suns, and we went out to Nantucket to sing at University of UMass Amherst or whatever. Oh, half of the drum group went to UMass Amherst.
Yeah.
And UMass had some kind of environmental campus out there in Nantucket anyway. They had an arts festival. We got to perform out there. It was pretty good. They let me play my guitar and years later, I was playing somewhere, and a lady says, "Hey, you remember me? I seen you play out in Nantucket." And I went, "Holy smokes!" I think she was in Toronto or somewhere. I run into her. But yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
we just got the most important question of the night. The most important
Sacred
question.
one.
This right here is the most sacred, most important question of the night. So right now, Brock, this lays on you right here. Is it tacos or burgers?
Tacos.
Tacos or burgers?
Indian tacos or res burgers?
Is different? What's the difference?
One might have a puppy in it.
It depends on which
Yeah,
res you're going to.
well, some mutton, and
Yeah.
no.
Down there in the net
Yeah,
territory.
I think I'd just have a hamburger.
There you go. Burger it is.
There you go.
Yeah, I've had so many Indian tacos, but I've had so many hamburgers, and I keep going back for a hamburger.
Right?
Yeah,
Man.
I don't know. That's a tough one. Indian tacos or what? I don't know. Are they fish tacos, shrimp tacos? Are they? Where are they from?
I had some Mexicans
What
over
kind
in
of are they
Yakima
Navajo
Valley, man.
tacos? Are they tacos from Wisconsin? Are they tacos from Ontario? Are they
Is it a
tacos
Juicy
from
Lucy from Minnesota?
Are they tacos from Cape Breton Island? Or are they tacos from Salish Res? What do the Salish Res tacos look like? What do they look like out in Portland?
Oh man, all wheat flour, Bluebird all wheat flour from Tana Sanchez's native taco stand.
Oh
As a matter of fact,
and a dash of pickle thorn, something like that, eh?
All you skins out there, I'm going to tell you real quick. You guys could start adding chocolate chips to your fry bread dough and making some snack bars. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to go all in, since all you skins don't be cooking breakfast at powwows like that, get up in the morning and fry up some scrambled eggs and some sausage and put some bacon bits in your fry bread dough.
Scrapple. Got to put some scrapple on there, baby.
I'll tell you what. The best restaurant in the world, and I've been to some really fancy restaurants in my time. I went to South Korea once, and me and my brother Brent here. If you see me cracking up, it's because I'm cracking up because of my brother's reactions. I'm just laughing because I know what he's thinking. So, but yeah, we were out in South Korea. We toured across South Korea, and we went all the way from Seoul to about an hour south of North Korea. And we drummed for 4 days out there, eh, Brent? Yeah, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that was pretty good. One of the senseis in the local town wanted a troop to go to his hometown in Hoshin County, and we were closer to the border than we thought. I found out we were about 15 minutes from the border.
From the DMZ?
Yeah. Yeah, and it was that year, 2006. That was the year they started their missile testing over South Korea. We went anyways. We didn't give a rat's ass.
If it's like the res, I ain't scared.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad. Hey, if you were gonna play a song for South Korea, what would it be right now? Something just hella dope. My nieces are Korean, so.
Well, the question was why I ended up talking about South Korea was all the different food. We had bodyguards, and we got to eat like with the mayor of the county, and we had bodyguards, and I got to go out on a date with the hotel owner's granddaughters. Me and my cousin Bob took them out, and we had bodyguards translating, and yeah, we were like celebrity movie stars out there, and I thought that was the best. But then I went on tour and ate in Tukabi,
baby.
Denver, Colorado.
Yes,
boys.
Oh, now those are some tacos.
Yes, they were.
I'll take a stuffed taco from there over any hamburger any day.
I agree. Yeah,
my
and so
bro Brian
wasabi.
Stry down in San Antonio, him and his wife Sally and their boys took us out to a place called Puffy Tacos in San Antonio. If you guys don't know about Puffy Tacos, San Antonio, there's powwows down there too, baby. But hit up Puffy Tacos, man.
Brett, we better start making our own burgers, eh, Brett? We got to start making our own. Brett's better at making bread than me, but I'm better at flipping a patty.
Man, y'all are making me hungry too.
Yeah.
Hey,
Put so much damn love in those things.
that's it, baby. Yeah.
You know, tend your pants.
Hey,
Something's gonna happen.
hey,
And
Brock.
it's gonna be a taco at the same time.
Hey, Brock. I got a question for you, man. Have you ever thought about working with the USO? You know, as a military guy that's gotten deployed, you know, we don't have much representation when it comes to anything. You know, we don't have our own spirit. We're not allowed to have our own spirituality. We can't get our medicine people to come visit us. But Catholics can, Christians can. It would be beautiful, especially for me. You know what it would be to be in Iraq like I was, because I got stationed in Iraq, and all of a sudden the National Guard from New Mexico came, which is about 65% native, showed up in Iraq, and we had the first powwow in Iraq. We had our first powwow in Iraq at that time. Dude, it was off the chain. Them Iraqi, those locals didn't know what to think of us. They thought we lost our mind out there. We were out there in ACUs, boots. We shipped our bustles. We shipped our bustles to Iraq and put bustles on in the middle of the desert and did powwow in Iraq. It'd have been amazing to have an artist like you working with the USO to go out there and perform for us Native people to show we have a little representation within the music community.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. I'd do that. Yep.
Well, you brought up the Canadian military too, man.
I just had to renew I got to get on getting a passport, and if you could get something like that set up, I would check it out.
I actually can. I work with the USO because they've hired me a couple times to do different programs at the different military bases, flute playing and storytelling. I bring dancers and perform sometimes. So absolutely, I'd love to get you involved in that because they're always looking for more cultural stuff. Because if I have to see Alan Jackson one more time in Iraq, it'd be nice. And nothing against Alan Jackson, but the dude lives in Iraq just about. So it'd be nice to have a Native artist going. Yeah, he performs. He does. Yeah, Alan Jackson does a lot of military gigs, man. He's. I think every military base I've ever been to, he performed free.
He's a very patriotic country professional for sure.
Absolutely. So it'd be nice to have a Native person on stage, you know, representing me, but also just good music in general, having good music for all the troops.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, we're gonna get you back here again too, man. I want to get Gary on here really bad with you guys, and that would be awesome for him. If you guys were in the same environment, you know what I mean, to be able to hear you playing guitar and him playing that harmonica, I tell you what, man, this is the thing. I mean, we are always looking for quality entertainment, and to be able to hear you guys, you know, and being able to share this night with your brother, that's a big thing for me. Like I love my brother. Normally, he's in the background helping us with a lot of the background technical stuff, and you know my brother like you know me. You've met him. And you've seen us in person, like it's good to have that family support dynamic going on. Like we had the brother Opie Day from Midnight Express, like his brother Hallow and them, they're all family, you know what I mean? Like, and they all stay really close together. That's just that Native way, and that's what I'm really feeling good about this. And this doesn't have to be the only time that you come out, you know. And if you know anybody else that wants to. Nikki, hey, Leona, stop bickering around now. Hey, no, she was busy at work. My brother's all being loud with us.
You better be careful. You watch out. You have to chew your food carefully.
Mm-hmm. No, but it's serious. It's super important, whether that's the big drum, whether you're standing around the table or sitting in your chair waiting for another round dance song to start, or whatever it is, that camaraderie, that brotherhood and sisterhood that we're out there looking for, you know, that circle, it's a circle. Yet again, we'll bring that up. You know what I mean? Again, if you guys want to hear Oh, she's good now. Like, yeah, no Snickers, but steak. See, that's how you keep a good woman, happy. Is you got to give her some steaks and A1 sauce, eh? Or
Hey,
some
listen
Tim
to this song.
Hortons.
Listen to this song, if I can remember how to play it. Oh, I can't think of it. But it's called. I haven't played it in a little while, but it's called Hamburger. No, no, it's called Hamburger Steaks. Oh, it's called. Oh, it's called Sweet Potato Pie, and
There
it's
you
like
go.
she lives deep in the bush with her traps and hides. She lives deep in the bush with her traps and hides. She makes steaks and blues out of sweet potato pie. There.
Ah! Woo!
I got a 308, she said it's much too loud. I got a 308, she said that it's much too loud. She put cotton balls in the ears of my bloodhound. Hear the dinner fire, then I start to cry. I hear the dinner fire, then I start to cry. 'Cause in the frying pan was my dark sweet potato pie. I got a 12-point buck with my truck at night. I couldn't have been quicker with my spotlight. I couldn't have been quicker with my pickup truck at night. And then a game warden came, took my million candle lights. She lives deep in the bush with her traps and hides. She lives deep in the bush with her traps and hides. Baby, she makes steaks and blues out of sweet potato pie.
Since Patrick is putting his blues hat back on, I figured I'd put mine on
That's
too.
it.
We're coming
That's
on
it.
3 hours
Yeah,
right now.
we got
This
a
has been an extra
band.
wonderful of the B&B Indigenous podcast. If you guys enjoy the content that you saw here tonight, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I know this is just good, warm feelings in the heart, mind, body, and spirit that we wanted to share. We want to say thanks to Brock and Brent Stonefish for joining us tonight. If you guys would like to pick up this album, like I said, all you got to do is get onto his Facebook account, look for Brock Stonefish. You can also check out the website at brockstonefish.com. And if you are looking to bring him as an artist to your neighborhood, they already have a tour book. He's not going to be talking about tour dates, as he said. But like I said, to you, if you'd like to set up some time that you would like to see Gary Farmer and the Troublemakers or Brock Stonefish solo, give him a call. Ontario area code 519-784-1354. Again, we want to say thanks to all of you tuning in with us tonight. It has been definitely a beautiful show. We want to say thanks to all of the people and our winner, Brenda Hill, for picking up that digital download. She's going to be getting that. Make sure and send us your information right directly to us, okay?
Yeah. Don't get a hold of me if you want to get a hold of Gary. You have to get a
Okay,
hold of
well,
Gary.
there you go.
Okay.
Call Gary
Yeah.
direct. Now, do you have contact information for him though, right?
I could forward information if somebody wanted it. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to make sure. I mean, we're
Yeah.
pushing. This is your show tonight. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of mention.
Yeah.
Gary, he's a standalone on his own. But I can tell you this much: that the opportunity to have you with us, this is the main focus, and having your family sitting in with us, your brother tonight. This has been a beautiful and amazing show. We also would like to see more artists come out and share some time with us as well. And we'd like to have you back at some point soon. You too, Brent. Don't be trying to hide out. You know what I'm saying? He was probably your older brother that had the snagging blanket, huh? Walking around, you guys are teenagers, or when he was in his teenage years, my boy, pay attention now. I'm going to show you some tricks of the trade.
Yeah.
I know. Looking like an Eastern blanket dancer out there, really going for it like that.
You don't see me here. You don't see me here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give just a few announcements before we cut out of here. First announcement is
My wife is just laughing in the background. Sorry.
I was waiting to see it. I was waiting for a shoe to be thrown across the room.
Yeah.
Well, all we know is that she got a buck from Bucktown, anyways. So.
Yeah.
Just we want to first say we want to send some love out there to the Native community down there, the Occaneechi Saponi people. John Blackfeather, a tribal elder out there, has walked on. So we want to give our love and support out there to the family, with the Occaneechi people. John Blackfeather was a great MC and also a leader amongst the people of the Occaneechi Saponi. So John Jeffries, may you rest in power, and may you continue to have happy hunting grounds. Now it's in part two. Ladies and gentlemen, this is only one of many of our shows. We are also located on YouTube and on Facebook, and soon to be on Scoden.xyz. We want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Scoden.xyz, where it's a alternative for natives to have your own social media platform. It's basically Facebook for natives, run by and operated by all native people. Brock, this has been our longest show we've ever had, man, and we have had a constant viewership all night long.
That's
and
right.
That's because I've been watching our numbers, and our numbers haven't dropped under 9 or 10. It's been going up to 25, 30, dropping down. But our number has stayed at a good place all night long because of your great music. And we cannot say thank you enough. It truly is an honor to, you may not see yourself as a legend, but a lot of us, people that watch you and see you, is definitely a legend within our native musician community. I just want to say thank you so much personally, and Yahweh. Brent, thank you so much for joining us in here as well, man. You've been awesome, man. Your stories. We want you guys back on the show, just like Ron said.
I didn't. Now I see the comments. I didn't know that comment section was there.
Yeah.
You got a whole night's worth, 3 hours and 5 minutes, now 6 minutes worth of comments and commentary and all of that.
I didn't even know it was there.
We're asking for. It's all good.
Much more. Things would have been much more interesting.
A little slow on the uptake there.
It's all right. Hey, we're asking our viewers out there to show us a little support, a little bit of love. Please like and subscribe and share our videos. Let us know what you like. We're looking for suggestions to make the show better. And before we get off here, I'm going to send it up to Ron. But my request tonight is with Brock, if you'd be so nice and so amazing, before we get off here, I want a song to close us out of here right after Ron gets through talking. I want to hear one of your favorite songs. Jam us out of here with a great song before we get off here. Ron, why don't you give us our closing remarks?
That's right. So, hey, we want to say thank you again, Brent and Brock Stonefish, for joining us tonight right here on the B&B Indigenous Podcast. Like my brother from another mother was saying, man, like, share, and subscribe. And don't be afraid to get out there. If you are feeling like you need to focus on your health, your mental, physical, emotional health, get out there and find a nice walk in the park with the kids. Take them out there to go play, especially when it's sunny out. We want to make sure that our elders are being looked in on in your native community. If your elders are not being looked in on, remember, it is your responsibility to do that as a warrior man or woman in your community. We also want to take a time to address the native social justice issues that are ongoing all across Turtle Island. Remember, this is our land. Don't ever forget that. We want to put those good feelings out there. We want to continue to support people in every endeavor that native people undertake out here in this land. We also want you to remember that it's not just about the fight and the struggle. It's also about finding those good times and reasons to smile. Again, we appreciate you guys being here with us on the B&B Indigenous Podcast. It's only going to grow. That's right. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. And I'm turning it over to the man with the plan, the bad man, the baddest man in the band, Mr. Brock Stonefish, right here. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us.
Oka.
I keep drinking malted milk, trying to drive my blues away. I keep drinking malted milk, trying to drive my blues away. You know you're welcome to my loving, as flowers is in May. Yeah, baby, fix me one more drink. Hug your daddy one more time. Yeah, baby, fix me one more drink. Hug your daddy one more time. Keep stirring my malted milk, mama, till I change my mind. I keep drinking malted milk, trying to drive my blues away. I keep drinking malted milk, trying to drive my blues away. Yeah, yeah, welcome to my loving, as flowers is in May. My doorknob keeps on turning, there must be spooks around my bed. My doorknob keeps on turning, there must be spooks around my bed. Yeah, I got a funny, funny feeling, the hair's rising on my head. I keep drinking malted milk, trying to drive my blues away. I keep drinking malted milk, trying to drive my blues away. Yeah, welcome to my loving, flowers is in me. steam rolling engine blow the steam through the sky. When a train comes rolling, please don't go blowing by. Every train is like rain, good or bad, it comes and goes. Every train is like rain, good or bad, it comes and goes. Yeah, I'm so sorry, baby, I gotta let you go. Like a penny on a track, some people call me a diving duck. Like a penny on a track, some people call me a diving duck. You may have some nickels and dimes, but you just won't have no luck. Hear the steam rolling engine blow the steam through the sky. I hear the steam rolling engine blow the steam through the sky. When that train comes rolling, please don't go blowing by. When the train comes rolling, please don't go blowing by. When the train comes rolling, please don't go blowing by. The train comes rolling, please don't go blowing by. All right.
We'll see you next time right here.
Next time,
on the Weird Angels podcast.